Chapter 3095. Qin Yun was now at the 4th level of the Divine Space Realm, but his Divine Space Force was 7,000. Others who had just stepped into the 6th level of the Divine Space Realm would only have about 7,000 or 8,000 Divine Space Force. I used 20 billion Divine Universe Golden Stones to raise my upper limit by 3,000 Divine Space Force. Now, I want to raise it by 7,000 Divine Space Force. That's almost 300 billion. Qin Yun could only close his eyes and cultivate. Cultivating 2 levels had cost him 400 billion Divine Universe Golden Stones. This time, his cultivation speed was even faster. In just 10 days, his upper limit of 7,000 points of Divine Universe Force had risen to 14,000 points of Divine Universe Force. I still have 2 trillion Divine Universe Golden Stones left. Qin Yun sighed. This was not enough for him to cultivate to the 9th level of the Divine Space Realm. Qin Yun broke through again and stepped into the 5th level of the Divine Space Realm. His upper limit of 14,000 Divine Space Force exploded to 15,000, increasing by another 1,000. It was not too much or too little. Qin Yun was satisfied. I just stepped into the 5th level of the Divine Space Realm, and my Divine Space Force is 15,000. This is equivalent to someone who has just stepped into the 7th level of the Divine Space Realm. Qin Yun had been in seclusion for 20 days. Long Shu had not called him during this time, which meant that nothing major had happened outside. In his opinion, before the 9th Divine Sun appeared, the Divine Wilderness was temporarily peaceful. The 7 kingdoms and the great Luo Empire were now frantically plundering the Divine Universe Golden Stones of the Divine Wilderness, and the various powerful races and factions of the Divine Wilderness seemed to feel that danger was approaching. Especially many powerful races, their reproduction systems were having major problems, so they gradually felt that something was wrong. Old brother Taisher, with my current wealth, I can only step into the 6th level of the Divine Space Realm. Qin Yun did some calculations. His upper limit was 15,000 Divine Space Force, and he needed to raise it to 30,000 Divine Space Force to break through. In other words, he had to use 600 billion Divine Universe Golden Stones to raise his upper limit by 15,000 Divine Space Force. He had used 400 billion before, and now he would have to use 600 billion. 1 trillion was gone just like that. Moreover, he would have to cultivate mental energy and Divine Universe Heavenly Bone in the future. Reaching the 8th or 9th level of the Divine Space Realm would require hundreds of thousands of Divine Space Force. Just thinking about it gave him a headache. Qin Yun, you still have 2 trillion Divine Cosmos Goldstones on hand. I believe you can use 10,000 Divine Cosmos Goldstones to evolve the godly Monarch Heaven Seal. Grand Prime said, this way, the expenditure on raising the upper limit of your Divine Cosmos powers will be greatly reduced. How much lower? Qin Yun knew that the Divine King Heavenly Seal would have great benefits after evolving. I'm not sure, but I can roughly feel that it will allow you to cultivate the Divine Universe Heavenly Bone, Mental Universe Energy, and Divine Universe Energy in the future, and the consumption will also be lower. Taisher said, if that's the case, then 1 trillion is definitely worth. Qin Yun pondered. If he used 1 trillion to upgrade the God King Heavenly Seal, he would still have 200 billion left to defend himself. He could not continue cultivating. Divine Yun was Divine Wilderness, Divine Space Realm. With the current situation in the Divine Wilderness, it was impossible to do business. It was difficult to obtain the Divine Universe Gold, so he had to find a way to earn money as soon as possible so that he could step into the peak of the 9th tier of the Divine Universe Realm. If Universe Realm, he would be close to being. Yin would Divine Heaven. I have been in seclusion for 20 days. My Divine King army should have become much stronger. Qin Yun felt the need to take the Divine King army out for a walk. During this time, those kingdoms must have obtained a lot of Divine Universe Golden Stones. Let's see if the kingdoms are honest. If they are not, I will teach them a lesson. If they are, I will enter the 9 Suns Sacred Ground. Qin Yun believed that with the Divine King army strength, they should be able to occupy a mine in the Nine Suns sacred ground. The mine would have at least hundreds of billions of divine universe golden stones, or even 2 to 3 trillion divine universe golden stones. It's decided. Upgrade the divine King Heavenly Seal. Qin Yun began transferring divine universe golden stones to the divine King Heavenly Seal. For some reason, the divine King Heavenly Seal seemed to be connected to the Nine Sun divine spirit. There was a large spatial passageway between them. It could quickly transfer divine universe golden stones from the Nine Sun divine spirit to the divine King Heavenly Seal. Qin Yun suspected that this was secretly done by Grand Prime in order to better absorb the divine universe goldstone. Old brother Taisher, after the divine King Heavenly Seal evolved this time, there should be other areas that became stronger, right? Qin Yun asked. Definitely. This will allow me to master the Yu clan Heavenly Talisman even faster. It will also allow me to use the other bloodline Heavenly Rune boxes better, Qin Yun said. Qin Yun, you must believe that the Divine King Heavenly Seal absorbing a large amount of Divine Universe Golden Stones has absolutely no harm, only benefits. Qin Yun naturally believed this point. He relied on the Divine King Heavenly Seal to turn the tables many times. Especially after this, he still needed to rely on the Divine King Heavenly Seal to bestow other people bloodline heavenly runes or strengthen all kinds of divine weapons and divine tools. The Divine King Heavenly Seal needs some time to evolve. Qin Yun came out of the Nine Sun Heaven Raising Pagoda and saw Long Shu floating above the lake. A whirlpool appeared in the middle of the lake, crazily absorbing all kinds of divine power. The Nine-Dragon Heavenly Origin Formation absorbed a large amount of Myriad Realms' divine sun energy, causing the sky above the Heavenly Fire Treasured Land to be filled with Myriad Realms' divine sun energy. It is like 8 giant dragons spiraling around. It is very magnificent and shocking. The Heavenly Fire Treasured Land is indeed a powerful treasured land. Qin Yun opened his heavenly eye to take a look and discovered that the Heavenly Fire Treasured Land itself is a super grand formation that gathers the Myriad Realms' divine sun energy. Coupled with the Nine-Dragon Heavenly Origin Formation, the speed of absorbing divine sun energy has increased by several times. It can be said that people with bloodline heavenly runes can improve very quickly in such an environment. Qin Yun is somewhat envious of them. Others can increase the upper limit of divine universe power or cultivate the divine universe heavenly bone. They can directly absorb the divine universe power of the Myriad Realms divine Sunday. As for Qin Yun, he needs to consume a large amount of divine universe golden stones to quickly improve. Of course, there is an advantage to this. His upper limit is extremely high and his potential is astonishing. Qin Yun estimates that when he reaches the 9th level of the Divine Universe realm, his Divine Universe power will be at least 500,000 and the highest will be more than 1,000,000. This is simply invincible. Of course, this requires a large amount of Divine Universe golden stones to allow him to reach that stage. Long Shu, is there anything big during this period of time? Qin Yun asked. Not for the time being. Long Jinchuan sent equipment over. Long Shu said, is there any movement from the 7 great kingdoms and the great Luo Empire? Qin Yun asked again. No, but there's a phenomenon in the 9 Suns sacred ground. There are more and more barbarian extraterrestrials inside. Moreover, that passage seems to be connected to more barbarian universes or other universes. This is what Long Jinchuan told us. What is more surprising to Qin Yun is that there is no big movement from those kingdoms. He suspects that the Heaven Secrets Gate's strength cannot keep up, so they cannot detect the secret movements of those kingdoms. He feels that there is a need to personally find those kingdoms to understand their movements. Chapter 3096. Qin Yun doesn't have many Divine Universe Golden Stones left, only 200 billion. Compared to his next consumption, it is not enough for long. Next, he needs to find Divine Universe Golden Stones. There are many Divine Universe Golden Stones in Divine Desolate. As long as the myriad realms divine sun exists, divine universe golden stones will be continuously produced. However, without enough strength, it is impossible to mine divine universe golden stones from divine desolate. Qin asked Maluru, and she said that she has become a lot stronger, but she doesn't know how strong she is. If Qin wants to find divine universe golden stone mine, he will have to rely on Maluru. If Maluru is released, it will be very dangerous. How did Great Luo Empire sense Maluru's whereabouts? Qin has been very puzzled about this. He suspects that Maluru used the spatial wind to sweep the earth and create fluctuations. In other words, as long as Maluru searches for divine universe golden stone mine, she will definitely be discovered. Once the little monkey is born, it will definitely be very strong. Qin pulled Long Shu's hand and said, "You don't need to worry too much now. It is only a matter of time before the little monkey is revived." Although Long Shu's cultivation has increased, she still hasn't reached the 2nd level of Divine Space Realm. She is now only at the 6th level of Divine Space Realm. She also wants to quickly reach the 9th level of Divine Space Realm so that she can unify the dragon race in Divine Desolate. Therefore, she immediately went to cultivate. Within the 9 dragons' heavenly origin formation, she can cultivate even faster. She must hurry up. After the 9th divine sun comes out, it won't be long before Divine Desolate will fall into all kinds of calamities. At that time, there won't be such a good cultivation environment. Qin went to receive the equipment. He previously gave many divine universe heavenly bones to Long Jinchuan to bring back to 9 Dragons' Kingdom and give them to their powerful craftsmen to forge. This batch of equipment are armors and sabers. Under Qin's request, these sabers have the ability to grow and shrink. The longest can be more than 2 meters. Because they are forged with divine universe heavenly bones, the armors and weapons are all dazzling gold. Even if there are no runes carved on them, these equipment are still very powerful. After all, they are forged with 250 genes of divine universe heavenly bones. For the 9th tier of the divine space realm, this level of equipment was extremely extravagant. Qin secretly looked at the 309 dragon warriors. They will be the first batch of warriors of the Divine King Army. They have been trained very well by Ba Taiyin and the others. Originally, some of them were only at the 8th level of the Divine Space Realm, but now they had all broken through to the 9th level. In the following time, Qin began to imprint runes on the armors and sabers. Sun Dragon Totem is the main rune. It is more suitable for the 9 Dragon Warriors' bloodline heavenly rune. Before engraving runes, those equipment won't be able to absorb divine cosmos power so smoothly. Armor can absorb divine cosmos power and increase defense by a lot. Good runes carved into weapons can absorb divine cosmos power and make it even stronger. Furthermore, Qin not only imprinted a powerful dragon totem, he also has the ability bestowed by the Divine King Heavenly Seal. The ability that the godly monarch Heaven Mark bestowed upon the armor was to allow the armor to produce a certain amount of rebound force. If it was struck heavily, it would rebound a portion of the force back to the opponent. And the ability bestowed upon the weapons was to produce a very formidable vibration power. It could cause the divine cosmos power to penetrate the opponent's armor. If the opponent was hit by a saber, the entire body would be shaken to the point of falling apart. It might even shatter into pieces. Qin spent a few days to complete 300 sets of armor. Then he repaired and modified the Dragon Warrior's armor. After all, it was worn by Ba Taiyin and the other Empire's warriors, so it must be even stronger. Inside the 9-sun heaven-raising pagoda, Ba Taiyin saw that Qin has become a lot stronger, but he is not surprised at all. "Brother Ba, how is the Divine King Army's training?" Qin said with a smile. "They have reached a certain level of maturity. Boss, should we pull in a train?" Ba Taiyin said. "What if they face the Empire's elite warriors?" Last time, when Great Blue Empire and Great Blue Empire's 9th level Divine Space Realm warriors fought each other, you should have seen the strength of these 2 Empire's warriors. 100 versus 100 whether it is Great Luo or Great Blue Empire, the Divine King army will surely win. Moreover, there will be no casualties. Bataille very confidently said. If it was 20 days ago, he would not be so confident. But after nearly a month of training, he has a very good understanding of the Divine King army. Those Divine King army's warriors have been brainwashed. They no longer consider themselves 9 dragon warriors. Rather, they are the Divine King army's warriors. They are only loyal to Qin Yun, the Divine King. Did you not count the equipment? Qin Yun asked. No, boss, Bloodline Heavenly Rune is very powerful. We have only managed to dig out a small part of its power. Bataille looked at his hands. Many runes suddenly appeared on his blue palms. These runes look like meridians. After pouring divine cosmos power into the runes, a very powerful aura of divine cosmos power burst out. This formidable aura caused Qin Yun's head to be in a mess. Even Qin Yun jumped in fright. He said in amazement, divine cosmos power burst out through these runes. It became very powerful. This is the power of Bloodline Heavenly Rune. Bataille nodded and said, it's not just that. Bloodline heavenly patterns flow through our bones and marrow, and they can make our divine universe heavenly bone even stronger. Compared to that divine universe heavenly dragon bone, it's countless times stronger. This should be Bloodline heavenly rune bone, but we have just started cultivating it. We are still in the process of groping. Bataille became more and more excited because he can see the hope of becoming very powerful. This hope will allow him to get close to the bloodline of an empire's noble clan. In other words, this trash from an empire has the possibility to turn the tables and counterattack. Moreover, it is a very high possibility. That's good, Qin Yun said with a smile. Then what will happen if you face 300 dragon warriors from absolute Luo Empire? Absolutely undefeated. Bataille said, if I face the dragon warriors right now, with enough equipment, I can fight 3 at once. Qin Yun understands Bataille very well. He is a very honest person. He does not casually boast. Bataille has seen dragon warriors before, so he has some understanding of them. Boss, they want to follow your surname. Bataille suddenly said, they don't have families. They were orphans since childhood. Their names were also randomly chosen. Now that they have obtained a new life filled with hope from you, they want to follow your surname and forever be loyal to you. Don't talk about loyalty or not. I will treat you as my friends. Qin Yun waved his hand and said, they hope that you can accept their surname, Qin. Can you? Bataille said with a smile. Of course I can. Qin Yun nodded. After Blue Cosmos people were bestowed Bloodline Heavenly Rune, they became very strong. Qin Yun now very much needs the help of these experts. He will do his best to satisfy their conditions. Race. Chapter 30:97. Bataille's 3 friends all gave themselves names. They were all trash that had been abandoned, and because they had known each other since they were young, they had become sworn brothers. Big brother is called Qin Zhong, second brother is called Qin Yi, third brother is called Qin Sheng. The 3 brothers are the same as Tayin Ba, straightforward and honest people. They discussed and decided that each of them will bring 100 God King warriors and divide them into 3 squads. Tayin Ba will stay close to Qin Yun to protect him. Qin Yun also agreed with them because they have been practicing this kind of attack and killing tactics for the past few days. Qin Zhong, Qin Yi and Qin Sheng were called over by Tayin Ba. After learning that Qin Yun agreed to let them use their names, they became very happy and thanked Qin Yun. Qin Yun first took out 4 sets of equipment for Tayin and the 3 brothers. They naturally like this kind of equipment very much and are very excited, because this kind of equipment is something that even experts surpassing 9th level of Divine Space Realm may not be able to get their hands on, especially the Divine King Heavenly Seal's ability to reflect and vibrate. They like it the most. Here are 300 sets. Distribute them to 300 God King warriors and use 3 days to let them familiarize themselves with this equipment. Then I will take you out for actual combat. Qin Yun handed over a storage bag to each of the 3 brothers. Seeing this equipment, Tayin and the others took a deep breath. If they were equipped by the God King army, They would be a super strong force in God Desolate. Even if they were to face 1,000 Empire soldiers, they would still be able to turn the enemy into a complete mess. Don't need 3 days. Let them familiarize themselves with it in 1 day. Qin Zhong said with smile. All right, 1 day it is. Qin Yun said with smile. I also want to see if the God King army is qualified or not. The 3 brothers immediately left. Qin Yun arranged for Tian Ba to go to Fog Moon City to obtain information about Heaven's Secret sect. After he came out of seclusion, he sent people to Fog Moon City to inform Heaven's Secret sect to investigate the locations of the various kingdoms' king cities. Heaven's Secret sect's overall strength is rather weak. If they want to obtain information, they need to have a certain level of strength. The cities built by the kingdoms can only be occupied by the people of those kingdoms. Moreover, it is very difficult for them to sneak in, so they can't obtain any information from outside. If they follow them, they will be easily discovered. The Heaven's Secret sect had lost quite a few Heaven's Secret dark operatives during this period of time. They had all been discovered by the Heaven's Secret sect and then killed. In the end, Xian Shazi, a big shot of the Heaven's Secrets gate, had no choice but to personally make a move to obtain some useful information. This time, Qin Yun told Tian to bring Xian Killer because he knows that the Heaven's Secrets sect cannot keep up. He had to bring them along. Otherwise, the Heaven's Secrets sect would eventually decline. The law enforcement world had already been disbanded. Qin Yun had the law enforcement world king select talented people to join the Heaven's Secrets gate. 2 days later, Tyrant Ba brought Xian Sha to the Heavenly Flame Treasured Land. Originally, Xian Sha Zi could directly come to the Heavenly Fire Treasure Land, but Qin Yun is afraid that he will be in danger. Because Fog Moon City is filled with crooks and honest folk, Xian Sha Zi might have already been discovered when he entered the city. King and Heaven Kingdom and Kingdom and Heaven are also. Sect. Other Kingdom. Yun. Of Heaven Tian King Sect. Most of the kingdoms and Daluo Empire look down on Qin Yun. Tian Yun are Tian. Are Yun Tian. From. Heaven. From. Qin Tian Yun King. In. From our Qin Zhong Emperor. King. In. He can't even withstand a single blow. Yes, as long as Qin Yun stayed in the Gods Desolate and did not go to the upper echelons of the world, he would be very safe. After Xian Killer arrived, Qin Yun gave him 100 sets of equipment. They are not for fighting, but for stealth. After wearing them, they can avoid being discovered. They are very helpful to hidden assassin. Furthermore, Qin Yun also gave Xian Shatzi and the others many materials. They are all obtained from the 9 Dragon Kingdom. They can help them refine even more powerful bodies. Boss, I've finally found some information. The Origin Luo Empire is mainly active in the 9 Sun Sacred Ground, but they have the other kingdoms strengthen their control over the Divine Wilderness. When the time is right, the Origin Luo Empire will announce that all the races in the Divine Wilderness must pledge loyalty to them. Killer said, I want to know what the other kingdoms are doing. It would be best if they are active in 9 Sun Sacred Land. Qin Yun said. Killer shook his head. They won't be so honest. God Desolate is very safe, but 9 Sun Sacred Land is very dangerous. They are only sending a large number of soldiers to 9 Sun Sacred Land because of Great Luo Empire's request. Other than the Phoenix Kingdom, all the other kingdoms have to listen to the Daluo Empire's arrangements. Other than Phoenix Kingdom, all the other kingdoms must pay tribute to Great Luo Empire from time to time. What if they don't have enough resources? Qin Yun asked. So the kingdoms are secretly allying with the powerful races of God Desolate and promising them some conditions in exchange for their help. Killer sighed. Many powerful races joined those kingdoms. After all, the kingdoms are all middle-class people. They have many things that those powerful races need. Qin Yun nodded. That's understandable. Have you found the powerful races that help the Cat Ear people capture the God Desolate? Yes, 3 powerful races. They are now loyal to the Cat Ear people. Moreover, their overall strength is very strong. They are the main force of the Cat Ear people in God Desolate. Killer said. Their main task is to kill and plunder in God Desolate. They use all kinds of methods to plunder the weak races and forcibly occupy their treasure lands, then hand them over to the cat ear people. What benefits did the cat ear people give them? Qin Yun asked. The cat ear people promised them that they could become mid-level personnel. Xin Shatzi sighed. Actually, that's simply impossible. The ultimate goal of the upper echelons of those three clans is to seek refuge with the Daluo Empire and gain the Daluo Empire's attention. Tell me the location of those three races and then determine how many treasure lands have fallen into the hands of the cat ear people. I want to take them back. Qin Yun said, Strange Cat Kingdom doesn't learn from their mistakes. They are not obediently mining in God Desolate and always want to rob other people's treasure lands. Don't blame me for being impolite. Killer took out several large papers and placed them on the ground. They are all here. Killer, I will arrange for you to meet Brother Jin Chuan and let him teach you some spy skills. Qin Yun said, Many thanks for your support, boss. Killer also knows that Heaven's Secret Sect has been struggling recently because their overall strength has fallen behind. Don't worry, I will not let Heaven's Secret Sect fall behind. You are very important, Qin Yun said. Chapter 3098. The multi-layered space where the Heaven's Secrets Gate was located was a very safe place. At the same time, it could also obtain the energy of the myriad worlds' divine Sunday. It could be said to be a very magical area. The seven great kingdoms and the great Luo Empire that had come to the Gods Desolate were all from the middle and upper worlds. Their numbers weren't that high, but the people they sent were all very strong to the living beings of the Gods Desolate. As long as they sent out a small legion, they would be able to exterminate those relatively weaker clans. Although many clans had barriers protecting their treasured lands, those barriers would still be broken under the assault of the royal legions. Qin Yun gave some instructions before letting Xian Sha return to the Heaven's Secrets chapter. He took the map that Xian Sha Zi had given him and looked at the 6 treasured lands that had been breached. These treasured lands had all been conquered by the Exotic Cat Kingdom. There are 3 powerful clans helping the Exotic Cat Kingdom take the lead. That's why they were able to breach the treasured land so easily. Qin Yun decided to first deal with the 3 native races. Powerful local tribes of the Divine Desolate had helped foreign bandits to rob other local tribes. Qin Yun would not show any mercy to such traitors. Brother Ba, go and tell them that we're going to fight soon. Tell them to adjust their mentality, said Qin Yun. Although the God King army only consisted of 300 people, their upper limit of divine cosmos force was extremely high. They all had dragon, bloodline, heavenly patterns, and with their powerful equipment, they were comparable to the Empire's dragon warriors. Qin Yun believed that 300 soldiers of the godly king's army were more than enough to kill the 3 powerful races. A day later, Qin Yun took out the heavenly leaping shuttle and moved the 300 godly Monarch army soldiers to the huge warehouse inside the heavenly leaping shuttle. He got them to set up camp inside. The 3 brothers, Qin Zhong, Qin Yi, and Qin Sheng, were all in the warehouse. Tying Ba stayed by Qin Yun's side to protect him at all times. Boss, does the Exotic Cat Kingdom still dare to build the Exotic Cat Royal City? Lady Ba asked. There's a place on the map that's said to be the new Exotic Cat King City. It's in a treasure land, and it won't be easy to attack it. Qin Yun said, This is a treasure land that one of the powerful races gave to the cat-eared people. The Exotic Cat Kingdom knows how to make use of the local tribes of the Divine Desolate to do things for them. They don't even need to show themselves. They just need to give those tribes some benefits. Tying Ba said, As such, this is a battle between the powerful native races of the Divine Wilderness. Qin Yun nodded and said, That's what it looks like on the surface, but it's the Exotic Cat Kingdom that's secretly controlling it. Do they think they can fool me with this? Ba Tain said, Boss, the cat-eared people might think that you're only trying to protect the dignity of the Divine King, which is why you're forbidding foreign kingdoms from enslaving the people of the Divine Wilderness. If they were secretly instructing the people of the Divine Desolate to enslave the people of the divine desolate. Then on the surface, it would have nothing to do with them. The cat-eared man thought that even if you knew the inside story, you would turn a blind eye to it. Do they really think I'm afraid of them? I will definitely ruthlessly attack the cat-eared people. In my divine desolate, you have to abide by my rules. Even the Daluo Empire has to listen to me. Qin Yun is sitting on a chair in the main control room. Holding the divine king heavenly seal, he proudly said, "In divine desolate, divine kings are supreme. In Qin Yun's eyes, there shouldn't be any bullshit kingdoms or empires. In the gods' wilderness, the myriad realms' divine court was enough to maintain order. The other powerful races and sects could build cities and develop. Things like empires should be banned." Qin Yun took out the heavenly lion dragon suppressing cauldron. He wants to pass on a message to the other kingdoms through Meng Kai. However, Meng Kai is very dejected and cried loudly, "Master Qin, my true body is dead. I was killed by the Daluo Empire's destroyer." "Why? In the strange cat kingdom, I was also a general, yet I was killed just like that." "This is very normal, because now everyone knows that you've been captured by me," Qin Yun said. "Since it was the Empire who did it, it means that the Empire has already made preparations to become my enemy and has closed the communication channel." Meng Kai is even more upset. Closing the communication channel is one thing. Why did they have to kill his true body? His true body is very strong, a formidable existence that surpasses the divine space realm. He can be killed just like that. Unable to pass on a message to the other kingdoms, Qin Yun also put away the heavenly lion dragon suppressing cauldron. The kingdoms and the Daluo Empire should have stationed their troops. Ba Tain said, "At first, it should be the kingdoms who took action. The empires won't easily take action, right? Since that's the case, those kingdoms can forget about staying in God desolate for long." Qin Yun said, "I want to kill them until they are afraid. I want to see how many divine space realm experts from the middle rank heavenly earth kingdom can send over. The more the better. I am very lacking in divine universe heavenly bones." He plans to develop the God King army to 30,000. If he wants to equip them, how many divine universe heavenly bones would he need? Not to mention 30,000 God King army. Even 3,000 God King army is very scary. Qin Yun want a large number of God King army, mainly to quell all kinds of wars in God Desolate. Of course, if the 90,000 world divine sun appears and God Desolate's great evolution era arrives, it will be hard to say when that time comes. The heaven-leaping shuttle alternates between flying and shuttling through space. It is currently heading towards the Peacock Treasure Land. There was originally a gentle peacock race there. However, this treasure land has been captured. Secret assassin of Heavenly Secret met the fleeing peacock race and found out about this. As the heaven-leaping shuttle flew, a large energy fluctuation suddenly came from ahead. A battle has broken out and waves of miserable screams can be heard. Qin Yun immediately made the heaven-leaping shuttle invisible and approached the battlefield. It is a ground battlefield. There are several hundred people with a pair of giant golden claws attacking 1,000 people with peacock tail feathers. It is the Golden Claw race attacking the Peacock race. The Golden Claw race is a powerful local race that defected to the Strange Cat Kingdom. Qin Yun saw the battle strength of the Golden Claw race and realized that many treasure lands are attacked by the Golden Claw race. There are a lot of Peacock race people, and their injuries are very heavy. They are also chained. Could it be that they have been enslaved? Ba Tain said, "Boss, can we attack now?" The Golden Claw race's cultivation are all at the 6th or 7th level of Divine Universe Realm. There are only a few dozen at the 8th or 9th level of Divine Universe Realm. 300 God King warriors should be enough to take them down. Qin Yun said, 50 is enough, but if we send out 300, we can deal with them even faster and save the Peacock race from even more torture." Ba Tain nodded and said. Qin Yun nodded and then went outside with Ba Tain. Then he brought the 300 God King warriors and floated in the sky and slowly landed on the ground. The God King warriors didn't wear armor. They didn't even use weapons because they don't need them. They only wore very ordinary gray, coarse hemp clothes. Because of the appearance of Qin Yun and company, the battle below quickly stopped. The 1,000 or so peacock race people must have wanted to escape, and now they are under control. Even more peacock race people are heavily injured and can no longer fight. A few hundred golden claw race people surrounded the 1,000 or so injured peacock race people and completely controlled the situation. A leader of the golden claw race looked at Qin Yun and arrogantly shouted, "Are you here to save these lowly slaves or to throw away your lives?" Chapter 30-99. The leader of the Golden Claw race had heard of Qin Yun's name and knew that Qin Yun was the divine king of the divine wilderness. However, he had never seen Qin Yun's appearance. Even if Qin Yun did not change his appearance, he did not know that he was a divine king. The divine king warriors all had aura concealment techniques. Qin Yun had imprinted a rune on them that prevented them from leaking their aura, making it easier to assassinate. Therefore, the divine king army stood there with an imposing aura, but it was impossible to see their strength. In the eyes of these few hundred Golden Claw race members, as long as they were not from the upper echelons, they could do whatever they wanted, so they were not afraid of anyone. Golden Claw race, it was you who helped the cat-eared people capture many people of the divine wilderness, right? Qin Yun asked. "Oh, you know about this? From your tone, are you here to take revenge on behalf of those people of the divine wilderness?" The leader of the Golden Claw race said with a smile. The unique characteristic of the Golden Claw race was that they had hands that could turn into a pair of large golden claws. These claws were all divine universe heavenly bones, and they were even strengthened. After the appearance of the 80,000th universe divine sun, the Golden Claw race also evolved. Their golden claws were previously at the level of ordinary divine universe heavenly bones, but after the appearance of the 8th divine sun, they were strengthened. "Kill," Qin Yun said. The leader was startled. Then he laughed and said, "With just you guys." Just as he said these 4 words, Qin Zhong very strangely flashed behind him. His hand stabbed into the leader's back and then tore his body apart. This leader was at the 9th level of the divine universe realm, the strongest among the few hundred Golden Claw race members. But now, he was torn apart in a short moment. The group of Golden Claw race members immediately cried out in fear. At this moment, the Divine King warriors suddenly disappeared and charged at the group of Golden Claw race members. One had to know that the Divine King warriors were all at the extreme 9th level of the Divine Universe realm, and they also had powerful bloodline heavenly runes. And among the Golden Claw race members, there were only a few dozen at the 9th level of the Divine Universe realm. These few dozen at the 9th level of the Divine Universe realm could not block any attack from the Divine King warriors. They were torn apart in an instant, or their heads were smashed by fists, or their bodies were split apart by palms. The 300 Divine King warriors were empty-handed, but they were able to tear the hundreds of Golden Claw race members apart. In an instant, the battle was over. The Golden Claw race didn't even have the strength to resist and were slaughtered one-sidedly. The Divine King warrior wasn't injured at all, and there wasn't a single drop of blood on him. When they fought, Divine Cosmos Force enveloped their entire bodies, allowing them to move forward. Qin Yun nodded his head in satisfaction. This was exactly the effect he wanted. The God King army took down the Golden Claws and gave them to Qin Yun. There were a few thousand Jin in total, equivalent to 10 sets of equipment. The group of peacock men were trembling in fear. They couldn't even beat the Golden Claw race, so it was impossible for them to win against this group of mysterious experts. "What's the situation at the Peacock Blessed Land now?" Qin Yun said with a gentle voice. "I'm going to the Peacock Treasured Land to kill all the Golden Claw people there. Can you tell me any useful information?" "Friend, it's better if you don't go. The Peacock Treasure Ground doesn't only have Golden Clawed people, but there are also many cat-eared people. You guys are very strong, but it'll be very dangerous if you go in." An old peacock man hurriedly shook his head. "We were able to come out alive because the chief did his best to create an opportunity for us to escape. Qin Yun also saw that most of the peacock men were teenagers. There were also some middle-aged men with decent strength and some women. The peacock race only wanted to ensure the continuation of their race. No matter how many cat-eared people and golden-clawed people there are, we will definitely kill them. Qin Yun said, No, 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 they're too strong. It's better if you don't take the risk. The old man said, We are very grateful to you for saving us, but we don't want you to do such a dangerous thing. Soon after, many middle-aged men and women of the peacock race came over to persuade Qin Yun. The cat-eared people are very strong, but I have killed many of them. I have destroyed the strange Cat King city they built twice. Qin Yun said, And next, I will destroy their strange Cat King city again. The group of wounded peacock race people were immediately shocked. They looked at the incomparably handsome man in front of them in disbelief. They have never seen Qin Yun before, but they know that Qin Yun, the divine king, has caused the cat-eared people to suffer greatly twice. It caused the cat-eared people's movements in the divine desolate to be restricted. The cat-eared people really don't dare to openly enslave the divine desolate people, so they can only do it through the golden-clawed people. The matter of Qin Yun destroying the cat-eared people's strange Cat King city and annihilating the strange cat army has reached the ears of the various races in the divine desolate. From their point of view, Qin Yun is the guardian god of the divine desolate, a true divine king. Greetings, divine king. After the old man recovered from his shock, he immediately knelt down on both knees. The other peacock race people are pleasantly surprised and immediately knelt down. Everyone, please rise. Qin Yun has a headache and lightly shouted, Divine king, the barrier of the peacock treasure land is already controlled by the golden-clawed people, but we peacock race can still open it. The old man said, Divine king, I will bring you into the peacock treasure land. When the old man found out that the person in front of him is Qin Yun, he is extremely excited. The rest of you should first find a safe place to rest and heal. I will soon be able to take back the peacock treasure land, Qin Yun said. Soon after, the old man told the group of middle-aged men to lead the younger generation away. Qin Yun took out the heaven-leaping shuttle and brought the divine king army and the old man into it. The old man told Qin Yun many things about the peacock treasure land. The peacock treasure land is a treasure land of a powerful race. The treasure land is a large mountain range with thousands of huge mountains inside. There are also many divine universe goldstones inside the treasure land. Especially after the 8th divine sun appeared, there are even more divine universe goldstones inside the huge mountains. Because the peacock race is gentle in nature, they stand aloof from worldly affairs. They're the kind that are easy to bully. Moreover, they are very honest, so they were targeted by the golden claw race. It is very easy for the golden claw race to break the peacock race's barrier. A large group of golden claw people ran outside the peacock treasure land and said that they want to form an alliance with the peacock race. Although the peacock race stands aloof from worldly affairs, they are very hospitable. Moreover, they do not know that the golden claw people have already sided with the cat-eared people, so they foolishly agreed to form an alliance and open the entrance to the treasure land, allowing the golden claw people to enter the peacock treasure land. After the golden claw people entered, they immediately started a massacre. Then, the cat-eared people lying in ambush in other places, as well as a large number of golden claw people, all charged into the peacock treasure land and easily took control of it. In the end, a large group of peacock people were enslaved and forced to mine the divine universe goldstones in their treasure land. The more the peacock race old man spoke, the angrier he became. Furthermore, tears streamed down his face. Because many people from the peacock race died, they blamed themselves for being too foolish. The living environment of the divine desolate is becoming more and more cruel. We deserve to be exterminated because of this. The old man wiped his tears and said with a bitter sigh. Chapter 3100. Even if your race is facing a crisis, it shouldn't be caused by an outsider. Qin Yun said, Divine Desolate will have a calamity descend, but it is not now. This old man is a highly respected elder in the peacock race. He sighed and said, I already expected that the nine-yang law spirit would not give us life for no reason. Even more so, after giving us life, it would not protect us until we grow up. Will come. The old man seems to have foreseen it, so they stand aloof from worldly affairs and develop in the treasure land. It is very likely that it is to deal with the calamity of heaven and earth. Just open a small entrance and let the heavenly leaping shuttle enter. Leave the rest to us. Qin said, Divine King, where did those powerful warriors from before come from? Were they created by the nine-yang law spirit? The old man asked. He felt that the Divine King army was bestowed to Qin Yun by the nine-yang law spirit. No, they were nurtured by me. The nine-yang law spirit stopped providing us with help a long time ago. Qin Yun said, Only like this can you become a true Divine King. Otherwise, you will only be a subordinate of the nine-yang law spirit. The old man nodded and smiled bitterly. The Divine King can be independent and so powerful. And our peacock race is such a good treasure land, but we are so useless and almost exterminated. You don't need to look down on yourselves. As long as you don't submit to the might of heaven and earth, you can still survive the calamity. Qin Yun patted the old man's shoulder and comforted him. The powerful races of Divine Desolate are still hoping to rely on the nine-yang law spirits' help to become even stronger. Only a small number of powerful races have already sent something and started to make preparations. In the Peacock Treasure Land, there are 20,000 Golden Claw people and 10,000 cat-eared people. Of course, when they first attacked, their total number reached 50,000. And the entire peacock race originally had 50,000 people, but now only 30,000 are left. They have all been reduced to manual labor. The Peacock Treasure Land is not considered a particularly strong treasure land, but there are many divine universe golden stones. If they were all extracted, it would be a huge number. Not long after, the heavenly leaping shuttle arrived outside the Peacock Treasure Land's barrier. There were more than 10 Golden Claw people patrolling inside and outside the barrier. Of course, they were all very arrogant and thought that there would be no problems. Therefore, they patrolled very casually and put on an act to deal with their leader. After turning invisible, the heaven-leaping shuttle landed outside the barrier. The patrol team had just passed by. Qin Yun, Ba Taiying, and the Peacock Race Elder left the heaven-leaping shuttle. The old man took out a few beautiful peacock feathers and opened the barrier very wide. It was rather difficult for Qin Yun to open the barrier of such a powerful race's treasure land. He would need to expend large amounts of divine universe goldstones. After opening a hole in the barrier, Qin Yun and company immediately returned to the heaven-leaping shuttle and entered the Peacock Paradise. The Peacock Treasured Land was originally a very beautiful treasured land, with birds singing and flowers fragrant, verdant hills, and clear waters. But now, those beautiful green mountains had been blasted to the point of devastation, and those rivers had become pitch black. At this moment, a large number of peacock people were being forced to excavate their treasured land, digging up mountains after mountains. Many golden-clawed people and cat-eared people were watching over the peacock people. Qin Yun made the divine king warriors wear their equipment and turn invisible. The golden-clawed and cat-eared people's main forces were still gathered in the center of the peacock treasured land. That was the place with the best quality divine universe goldstones. At night, 300 divine king warriors left the heaven-leaping shuttle. Like ghosts, they hid in the darkness and began to assassinate the golden-clawed and cat-eared people watching over the peacock people. In less than an hour, 300 divine king warriors had assassinated more than 1,000 cat-eared and golden-clawed people, successfully rescuing all the peacock people. Then, Qin Zhong, Qin Yi, and Qin Xing each led 100 divine king warriors and attacked the center of the peacock treasured land from 3 directions. Late at night, the heaven-leaping shuttle floated in the sky. Qin Yun and Ba Taiying stood on the heaven-leaping shuttle and looked at the center of the peacock treasured land. There, dragon roars were like waves of angry roars. All kinds of tyrannical divine universe power burst out with intense light. The divine king warriors were invincible. They swept through the golden-clawed and cat-eared people like they were cutting grass. Especially those dozens of elite cat-eared people. They were killed to the point that they began to doubt their lives. In their eyes, this warrior that suddenly appeared had strength comparable to the Empire's dragon warriors. In fact, he was even more terrifying than the dragon warriors. Where did he come from? Even before they died, they did not know that this was Qin Yun's divine king army. The divine king warriors were very fast. After being targeted, there was no way to escape. The cat-eared and dragon-clawed people were far inferior to the divine king warriors, be it in terms of equipment or upper limit of divine universe power. Even if dozens of them ganged up on one divine king warrior, they would still be instantly killed by the divine king warrior. Qin Yun saw a divine king warrior slash out several times with a saber. The waves of divine universe power that erupted out mightily reverberated over. Dozens of golden-clawed people were enveloped by the violent shock waves, their bodies instantly splitting open and dying. The sky brightened. The light of the 8 myriad realms' divine suns shone on the ground. In the center of the Peacock treasured land, there were a large number of dismembered corpses, golden-clawed and cat-eared people. None of their corpses were intact. The divine king warriors were collecting the corpses and picking up the divine universe heavenly bones. There was a total of more than 60,000 kilograms of divine universe heavenly bones. This was a very large harvest. The Peacock people regained their freedom, but they didn't know who saved them. They could only continuously thank the divine king warriors. The old man from the Peacock race originally wanted to say something, but Qin Yun told him not to for now. Peacock Patriarch, we will be resting here for a period of time. Arrange a quiet place for us. We don't want to be disturbed. Qin Yun said. The previous Peacock Patriarch was already dead. The new Patriarch was that old man. All right, the Peacock Patriarch has already sent people out to bring back the 1,000 Peacock people that escaped. The 1,000 Peacock men were only able to escape because the former Patriarch had led many experts in the clan and paid a huge price. Otherwise, they would have been enslaved or tortured to death. Qin Yun and company were arranged to stay in a very quiet cave. Boss, what's next? Tainba asked. Let the divine king warriors rest first. The cat-eared and golden-clawed people will soon know that the Peacock treasured land has fallen. Qin Yun said, let's see how many people they will send next. Tainba understood that Qin Yun wants to wait here for the cat-eared and golden-clawed people to come. Qin Yun also told the Peacock Patriarch to throw the broken corpses of the cat-eared and golden-clawed people outside the Peacock treasured land. This way, the scouts of the golden-clawed race and the cat-eared people would know that a large number of their people were killed. The broken corpses were piled up in several piles like small hills, very conspicuous. Soon, the golden-clawed people and the cat-eared people will receive the news that the Peacock treasured land has been taken back and tens of thousands of them died. They will definitely not let this matter rest. Chapter 3101. Qin Yun and Ba Tain were in a stone room in a cave, discussing the next battle plan. Brother Ba, in the Divine Desolate, when both sides are equal in strength, what matters is equipment. Especially in a situation where we are outnumbered, we need to use equipment to reduce the consumption of divine cosmic power, so that we can fight for a long time and annihilate more enemies. Qin Yun said, that's right, as long as we have good equipment, it will be very easy to fight. Ba Tain nodded. After the God King warriors wore the equipment Qin Yun gave them, in this kind of situation where they were outnumbered, their consumption of divine cosmic power was greatly reduced. The armor they wore could fuse closely with their bodies, and it fit extremely well. The divine cosmic force could flow smoothly into the armor, and then flow back into their bodies, smoothly circulating within their bodies and armor. As long as the armor had divine cosmic power flowing, it would have a great defensive effect. In addition, the armor's defense was very strong, so it would be very difficult for the enemy to break through the defense. At the same time, it would not consume much divine cosmic power. It was the same for weapons. As long as a certain amount of divine cosmic power was poured in and the divine cosmic power was not released, then there would not be too much consumption. Qin Yun was thinking, if the God King warriors were to face more enemies, how could they last longer? Qin Yun thought of a method, but he did not know if it would work. It was to refine a very powerful and very special vessel. When the God King warriors were free, they would pour in a large amount of divine cosmic power. This kind of method was also grasped by the heaven-splitting ancient race and the outer verse, but it was not good enough. Moreover, the amount of divine cosmic power stored was very limited, especially for 9th-level divine cosmic realm experts. A 9th-level divine cosmic realm expert had 200,000 to 300,000 divine cosmic power. The middle and upper-class people could refine such a vessel, but the cost was very high, so it was not worth it, especially when it was used on a large scale on others. A 9th-level divine cosmic realm expert was trash to the middle and upper-class people, so how could they use such an expensive item on a large scale on a 9th-level divine cosmic realm expert? Brother Ba, in the Great Blue Empire, what is the highest amount of strength storing pearls that can store 9 divine cosmic force? What is the price? Qin Yun asked. The highest is 100,000. It is very expensive. This kind of thing can't be bought by trash, and geniuses don't need it, so no one will refine it. Even if you go to the Great Blue Empire to buy it, you won't be able to buy much. Ba Taiyin shook his head. Then do you think that the Great Luo Empire and the other kingdoms will use this on a large scale? Qin Yun asked. It won't. That kind of thing requires very few materials. It's still rather difficult to store up divine universe power at the 9th level of the divine universe realm. Ba Taiyin shook his head. The divine cosmic force stored in the divine cosmic force could make the divine cosmic force very stable. After the divine cosmic force left the body, it would lose control and become very berserk. This was especially true for the divine cosmic force of experts, which could be increased by 2 or 3 times. Once it left the divine cosmic force within the body, it would immediately erupt. Hence, the conditions to refine this kind of strength-storing pearl were extremely harsh. Although it could be refined, 9th-level divine universe realm cultivators couldn't afford to use it at all. Qin Yun took out a basket of golden beads. This kind of golden bead was only the size of a centimeter and had 9 circular patterns on its surface. The bead was very dim and seemed to have lost its vitality. Seeing these beads, Ba Taiyin said in shock, "This is the divine universe inside someone else's body." Qin Yun nodded and said, "These divine universe in their bodies originally had divine universe power, but after they were killed, the divine universe power quickly drained away." Boss, you plan to refine the divine universe in someone else's body into a strength-storing pearl? Ba Taiyin was even more shocked. Is it not possible? Qin Yun said with a smile. If it was possible, this kind of thing would have been overflowing long ago. It's precisely because it can't be done that there is no such thing until now. If you inject the divine cosmic force into someone else's body, then the divine cosmic force will be controlled by the consciousness of the divine cosmic force. This kind of divine cosmic force will not be yours. Ba Taiyin immediately shook his head. This was the most difficult point to overcome. The divine cosmic force within the body had its own consciousness. Even if the master died, the self-consciousness of the divine cosmic force within the body would still continue to operate. The self-consciousness of the divine cosmic force within the body was very difficult to erase. It was almost impossible to do so. Why can't the Great Blue Empire do it? Qin Yun asked. Erasing the consciousness of the divine cosmic force within the body will cause great damage to the divine cosmic force within the body. The divine cosmic force within the body has a self-destructive consciousness. Once it senses that its consciousness is being destroyed, it will destroy the divine cosmic force within the body. Ba Taiyin said. He picked up a divine cosmic force within the body and then injected his own divine cosmic force into it to erase the consciousness. He successfully erased the consciousness, but the golden divine cosmic force within the body suddenly erupted with golden light and turned into a gray pearl. Ba Taiyin forcefully pinched the pearl, and it turned into gray powder. Qin Yun said with a smile, "Brother Ba, I can do what others can't." The divine cosmic force within a large basket were all collected by Qin Yun. There are more than 300 of them. Qin Yun took out a white bottle, and a white liquid dripped out from it. This is the soulless dew, and it has been improved by him. The speed at which he created the soulless dew is getting faster and faster. The main reason is because he is borrowing the power of the white divine sun totem. Qin Yun dripped a drop of soulless dew into the golden pearl and then handed it over to Ba Taiyin. He said with a smile, "Brother Ba, inject your own divine cosmic force into it and try to see if it can be stored and extracted." "This, boss, what did you do?" After Ba Taiyin grabbed the divine cosmic force within the body, he could feel that the divine cosmic force within the body did not resist at all. "Try it," Qin Yun said with a smile. Ba Taiyin immediately tried to inject his divine cosmic force into it. Ba Taiyin said in alarm, "It seems to have succeeded." If the divine cosmic force was not processed, there would be a huge commotion when the divine cosmic force was injected. Now that Qin Yun has processed it, there is no reaction at all. It is very stable. Ba Taiyin tried to inject his divine cosmic force and then took it out. He confirmed that it is a strength-storing pearl. "Is it easy to use?" Qin Yun said with a smile. "Give me a few more." Ba Taiyin is wild with joy. If he exhausts the divine cosmic force within his body, he can extract the divine cosmic force from these divine cosmic force and continue fighting. Ba Taiyin is already used to this kind of miracle created by Qin Yun. Tell the divine king warriors that if they encounter 9th layer divine cosmic force enemies, they should try their best to obtain their divine cosmic force. Qin Yun said, "Understood." Ba Taiyin nodded and said, "Next, Qin Yun will turn all these divine cosmic force into super strength storing pearls and let the divine king warriors carry them with them. It is very important to increase the endurance of the divine king warriors, because next, the cat-eared people and golden claw people will most likely send a powerful army to besiege the Peacock Treasure Land. Qin Yun is eager for them to come. To him, this is a great fortune. It would allow him to obtain a large amount of divine, cosmic heavenly bones. It would allow him to create even more powerful toys and equip even more divine king warriors. As long as there are enough divine king warriors, he will be able to stand firm in the divine desolate and make the great Luo Empire and other kingdoms submit. Chapter 3102. Qin Yun not only dripped soul lost dew, he also used divine king heavenly seal to imprint runes on the power-storing pearl. Qin Yun finished refining a large amount of power-storing pearls within an hour and gave them to the divine king warriors. And Ba Taiyin and the other brothers have quite a few. The divine king warriors are very happy. They wanted to obtain these power-storing pearls back in Nine Dragon Kingdom. They also know that they are very expensive. What made them pleasantly surprised is that the power-storing pearls Qin Yun gave them are much better than Nine Dragon Kingdoms. Nine Dragon Kingdom's power-storing pearls can only store 100,000 divine cosmos power. The ones Qin Yun gave them can store 250,000. Next, Qin Yun is drawing blueprints. He wants Long Jinchuan to find craftsmen to help him forge more God King spears. Divine King warriors should have God King spears. During battle, they first fire and bombard from a distance. After suppressing the enemy with firepower, they will rush over and start a massacre. Inside Golden Claw Treasure Land, inside a grand palace, there's a tall and sturdy black cat-eared middle-aged man sitting in the highest position of the palace. He is brimming with dignity. His imposing aura makes everyone in the main hall feel very oppressed. Inside the main hall, there are many cat-eared people wearing golden armor, as well as a few golden claw people. A cat-eared person is kneeling below. He said in fear, "Your Majesty, something happened to Peacock Treasure Land. We don't know what happened, but all of our people were killed. Their corpses are piled up outside the Peacock Treasure Land." The cat-eared person finished speaking and took out a large mirror. The corpses piled up outside the Peacock Treasure Land are all recorded in the mirror. Strange Cat King's avatar has already arrived in God Desolate. He is in charge of the overall situation. Strange Cat King City is built inside Golden Claw Clan's treasure land. Large number of cat-eared people are arriving in God Desolate. Currently, there are more than 1 million of them inside Golden Claw Treasure Land. Peacock Clan leader and Peacock Clan's main force are all dead. It is impossible for Peacock Clan to kill us, an old Golden Claw person said in cold voice. This is Golden Claw Clan leader. Strange Cat King's expression is very calm. He is not angry because of the loss of Peacock Treasure Land, because the dead cat-eared people are all trash in his eyes. Moreover, their numbers are pitifully small. This must be Qin Yun's doing, Golden Claw Clan leader said. This king knows. Exotic Cat King sneered. We've been looking for him, but we didn't expect him to take the initiative to expose himself in the Peacock Treasure Land. Your Majesty, are we going to attack the Peacock Treasure Land next? Qin Yun deliberately piled up the corpses outside to attract our attention and lure us over, said Golden Claw Patriarch. The Golden Claw race leader only looked calm on the surface, but he was inwardly furious. This was because all of the Golden Claw people in the Peacock Precious Land must have died. The Golden Claw race wasn't the Exotic Cat Kingdom. The main forces of the Exotic Cat Kingdom were those who had surpassed the Divine Space Realm, and the cat-eared people at the Divine Space Realm were trash in the Exotic Cat Kingdom. Thus, the Exotic Cat King did not care about them at all. We are naturally going to take down the Peacock Treasure Grounds. Qin Yun infuriated the Crown Prince of Zenith Luo. He snatched what the Crown Prince needed and even openly provoked him. Strange Cat King said with smile, as long as we capture Qin Yun and hand him over to the Luo Crown Prince, it will be a very big gift. The Peacock Paradise is not easy to attack. The barrier is very strong, and there's still Qin Yun inside. We don't know much about Qin Yun, Golden Claw Patriarch said. No matter how strong Qin Yun and company are, can they be stronger than the Exotic Cat Kingdom's army? Strange Cat King said disdainfully. First send 200,000 to attack the barrier. After breaking the barrier, directly attack the Peacock Treasure Land and capture Qin Yun. Then slaughter everyone else. Golden Claw Patriarch is still somewhat afraid of Qin Yun because powerful races like them instinctively revere divine monarchs, especially now that Qin Yun has taken back the Peacock Treasure Land. Your Majesty, please reconsider, Golden Claw Patriarch said. The ones attacking the Peacock Treasure Land are the 200,000 army of the Exotic Cat Kingdom. What are you afraid of? Strange Cat King said with sneer. We have 1 million army and more will arrive in the future. In the end, we will have 5 million army. If it is less than 5 million, we will continue to replenish it. Golden Claw Patriarch swallowed his saliva. A few million cat-eared people from Middle Heaven Earth. This is indeed a very terrifying force. Just wait and see. Our Exotic Cat Kingdom will definitely be stronger than the other kingdoms in the God Desolate. Strange Cat King said. Golden Claw Patriarch also realized that the Exotic Cat Kingdom's army is not here just for Qin Yun. They're also here to attack other kingdoms. Although the God Desolate is very big, these kingdoms have enmity with each other. Even if there is no conflict, they still want to create conflict and start a war to plunder each other's resources. Your Majesty, how about we think of a way to sneak into the Peacock Treasure Land? It won't be too late to fight after we figure out the situation inside. Golden Claw Patriarch is still trying to persuade Strange Cat King. Lowly people are lowly people, as cowardly as mice. Strange Cat King snorted unhappily and said, This king will personally lead a 500,000-strong army. This king will let you see how we, the middle class, will sweep away lowly creatures like you. Golden Claw Patriarch doesn't dare to persuade him anymore. He is doing this for the good of the cat-eared people. 500,000 army. Could it be that they can't even attack the broken Peacock Treasure Land? Great Blue Empire and Huoling Empire both promise Great Luo Empire that they will not send reinforcements to Qin Yun. Even if they're willing to give Qin Yun, how much can they give? You just follow us and watch from the side. Yes, Your Majesty. Golden Claw Patriarch repeatedly nodded. Then Strange Cat King said again, quickly inform the other kingdoms that this king will lead 500,000 army to attack the Peacock Treasure Land to capture Qingyun. This is for the Crown Prince. If other kingdoms obstruct us, they will become enemies with the Crown Prince. He is worried that other kingdoms will get in the way and compete with him for the opportunity to capture Qingyun. Qingyun stole the Dragon Bloodline Heavenly Pattern box from Great Luo Crown Prince, thoroughly infuriating him. Great Luo Crown Prince has already said that he will capture Qingyun, so other kingdoms will definitely put in a lot of effort. This matter will not only be passed on to other kingdoms, it will also be passed on to other factions in the God Desolate, telling them not to get involved. Heaven's Secret Sect quickly received this news and immediately sent it to the Peacock Treasure Land. Qingyun and the others have been resting in the Peacock Treasure Land for 2 days. They have already recovered to their peak. Qingyun is standing on top of the mountain. The 9-sun heaven-raising pagoda is at the top. Boss, Strange Cat King's avatar will personally lead 500,000 army to attack the Peacock Treasure Land. Tyrant Ba informed Qingyun. His expression is also very solemn. 500,000 army. All of them are cat-eared people from Strange Cat Kingdom. This is a very terrifying force. Although 300 God King warriors are very strong, they have no chance of winning against 500,000 cat-eared people. Chapter 3103. Tyrant Ba was extremely worried because he couldn't think of any way to repel the exotic cat's army, not to mention defeating them. As long as they could repel the exotic cat army or block them outside the Peacock Treasure Land, it would be considered a victory. Seeing that Qingyun is very calm, he suddenly thought of something and hurriedly said, Boss, don't tell me you want to use the bloodline venomous insect? The bloodline venomous bugs were extremely terrifying, and Qingyun still had many larvae in his hands. If the bloodline venomous insects were used against a large number of cat-eared people, there was a chance that the exotic cat army would be repelled. However, once the bloodline poison bugs go out of control, it will be dangerous. It will definitely cause great harm to the Divine Desolate. The bloodline poisonous insect was created by Qingyun using the Great Blue Empire's poisonous insects. He added the bloodline Heavenly Rune bloodline into it, so it became very dreadful. Even Qingyun's understanding of the bloodline venomous worms was extremely limited. Using the bloodline venomous bug is very risky. Qingyun shook his head. Although the Divine Wilderness will face a calamity in the near future, I cannot let the Divine Wilderness face the danger of the bloodline venomous bugs in advance. Then what should we do? Tyrant Ba knew that Qingyun must have a solution for being so calm. The first time we attacked Strange Cat King City, we used the bloodline venomous insects. At that time, they bred a large number of venomous insects. In the end, I collected the corpses of those venomous insects. Qingyun smiled mysteriously. I refined the corpses of the venomous insects into a kind of poisonous gas that has a miraculous effect on the cat-eared people. Really? Tyrant Ba was relieved, but when he thought that it was Exotic Cat King's clone leading the army, he said, Exotic Cat King's army has Exotic Cat King. It will take at least 2 to 3 days for them to arrive at Peacock Paradise, right? Qingyun said, this period of time is enough for us to make preparations in advance. Tyrant Ba knows that Qingyun has those primal chaos cannonballs. They are very powerful, but he doesn't know how many Qingyun has. Qingyun would not easily use the primal chaos cannonball. There would be one less of such things to use. The speed at which the nameless old man created the small primal chaos divine sun was very slow. It was unknown when he would be able to create another primal chaos cannon. We don't need to wait for them to arrive outside the Peacock Blessed Land. We will ambush them halfway, Qingyun said. Ambush. The corner of Tyrant Ba's mouth twitched. They only had 300 God King warriors on their side. Ambushing an army of 500,000? Boss, are you going to use that chaos cannon? Ba Tyrant asked. If they used chaos cannons, and there were a lot of them, annihilating an army of 500,000 would be no problem at all. Not for the time being. Use the poison gas I refined. Qingyun said. Pass down the order. Get them to capture a few cat-eared people at the 9th level of the divine space realm. I want to use them for experiments. Yes, Tyrant Ba immediately made arrangements. Outside the Peacock Treasured Land, there were many cat-eared people scouts. The Peacock Blessed Land was very big. They had to monitor the entire Peacock Blessed Land and understand all the movements of the Peacock Blessed Land. This way, when their army arrived, they would be able to obtain more information. If someone from the Peacock Treasure Land came out and set up a trap, these scouts would be able to detect it. After Ba Tain and his brothers went out, they quickly caught a few spies. Although these spies were all at the 9th level of the divine space realm, they weren't outstanding in terms of combat, but they were outstanding in terms of perception and scouting. Ba Tain's spiritual force was stronger, so it was easy for them to find these spies. Of course, they also knew that there were many spies from the exotic cat kingdom outside. It was impossible for the 500,000-strong army from the exotic cat kingdom to be well-equipped, and also impossible for all of them to be at the 9th level of the divine space realm. Therefore, Qin Yun was able to use the cat-eared people at the 9th level of the divine space realm to test the poison gas. The poison gas he produced was specially used to deal with the cat-eared people. The bloodline poisonous insects from before could only harm the blood of the cat-eared people. The poison gas produced from the corpses of the poisonous insects was also used to deal with the cat-eared people. Qin Yun had a large amount of this kind of poison gas. He collected it and then used the Nether Sun's duplication ability to duplicate a large amount of it. Then he injected it into the pill transformation heavenly furnace and refined it again and again. This way, he could produce even more poisonous cannonballs. Originally, it was a poisonous gas, but after being combined, it could condense into a liquid. And after exploding, not only would it produce a large amount of poison gas, it would also produce a large amount of poisonous liquid. Qin Yun could very easily produce a large amount of it. Although it was not fatal to the cat-eared people, it could make them lose a large amount of their combat strength. As long as the cat-eared people lost their strength, the Divine King warriors could rush in and kill them with a single slash. Qin Yun used a small amount of poison gas and controlled it to float beside the 5 cat-eared people scouts. This kind of poison gas is very special. It can be inhaled into the body when breathing. If they don't breathe, then when absorbing the myriad realms' divine sun's energy, it will also be absorbed into their body. The cat-eared people army also needs to absorb a lot of energy to maintain their peak condition. The 500,000 army rushing to the Peacock Treasure Land is definitely not to directly attack. Before attacking the Peacock Treasure Land, they will certainly set up camp and rest. They will adjust their peak condition and then attack the Treasure Land. Those cat-eared people unknowingly absorbed the poison gas. The poison gas is colorless and odorless. They don't even know that it has already entered their body. The poison gas refined by Qin Yun will not immediately flare up. This is under his special control. If it was a strong poison gas, it would have been easily sensed and they would have taken precautions against it. Although the colorless and odorless poison gas can't immediately poison the cat-eared people, it can allow them to absorb more. This kind of poison gas has a very strong after effect, especially with the accumulation of time. 2 hours later, the spirit of those cat-eared people scouts became very poor. The divine cosmos power within their body became very weak. The poison gas has already entered their divine cosmos, corroding the divine cosmos power within their body. Then, through the divine cosmos, it flowed throughout their body, causing their flesh and bones to become powerless. There are no obvious signs of being poisoned. They just look very tired and feel like they will be fine after a good sleep. They have been rushing for a few days. They will definitely think so when the time comes. Half a day later, Qin Yun asked, "Brother Ba, how strong are these guys now? My son can easily kill them with one hand." Ba Tain said with smile. He is finally relieved. He did not expect Qin Yun to create this kind of poison gas so quickly. There is still time. I will do my best to create more poison gas in the next 2 days. Pay attention to the movement of the strange cat army. Report to me if there are any changes. Qin Yun said. Yes. Ba Tain nodded. Qin Yun began creating poison gas inside the nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda. The process is very simple for him. He only needs to consume divine cosmos power. He can easily replenish it with divine King Heavenly Seal. This time, the Strange Cat Kingdom's attack on the Peacock Treasure Land can be said to be very powerful. Everyone has received the news. Chapter 3104. The fact that Exotic Cat King's avatar personally took action shows how much importance he attached to this operation. Previously, Qin Yun had attacked Exotic Cat Royal City twice and successfully captured it each time. Exotic Cat King attacked Peacock Treasure Land this time, not only to capture Qin Yun and offer him to Great Luo Crown Prince, but also to vent his anger. Now, other kingdoms are laughing at their kingdom, saying that they lost so miserably in the hands of a lowly person. Great Blue Empire's ambassador Gao Linxing and Hualing Empire's ambassador Jiangming are currently in the sky far away from Peacock Treasure Land. There's a small building floating there. They're sitting inside the building and looking at Peacock Treasure Land from time to time. Brother Gao, do you think Qin Yun will be able to escape this time? Jiangming said. Qin Yun still underestimated the kingdom's power. This guy Qin Yun is quite arrogant. Not only does he look down on kingdoms, he also looks down on us empires. This time he will suffer a great loss. Gao Linxing said with smile. What? Qin Yun is in trouble. You are very happy? Jiangming also said with smile. This bastard, although he sold the easy smoke manufacturing technology to us, he did not sell the tobacco. Moreover, the tools and rune printing tools he sold us are all consumables. Gao Linxing cursed in low voice. After a period of time, we will have to buy those consumables from him. During the manufacturing of easy smoke, special runes must be printed on the cigarette paper. Those runes are carved into crystals by Qin Yun. Those crystals are consumables. Moreover, it is very difficult to decipher the runes inside. Once the crystals are used up, they will have to buy them from Qin Yun. They will inevitably be cheated. Indeed, those tobacco are extremely expensive. Divine Moon Clan's stinky bitches are not few at all. Jiangming is also very unhappy. Qin Yun doesn't know the consequences of offending Great Luo Empire. He is blaming us for not selling them to him. So he secretly cheated and made Divine Moon Clan raise the price of tobacco. Gao Linxing said coldly, "Just wait. Divine Moon Clan's tobacco manufacturing technology, we must grasp it in our hands." Brother Gao, do you have any clues? Divine Moon Clan has the protection of Heaven Opening Ancient Clan. Heaven Opening Ancient Clan is establishing a kingdom. They are also a kingdom. Moreover, they have an unclear relationship with Nanyang Law Spirit. Jiangming said, "Not at the moment, but don't worry. Our Great Blue Empire will definitely take a big bite out of the divine wilderness." Gao Linxing smiled and said, "Your Hualing Empire must have a lot of plans, right?" Jiangming just smiled and did not say anything. "Do you think Qin Yun will be captured this time?" Jiangming asked. "This fellow Qin Yun is not that easy to take down. Even if the 500,000-strong exotic cat army can conquer the Peacock Paradise, they might not be able to take down Qin Yun." Gao Linxing said, "After all, they're just a kingdom, but it's hard to say for the other force." "Oh, are you saying that the Daluo Empire will also send people over?" Jiangming asked. "It's not the Daluo Empire, but the Crown Prince of Daluo." Qin Yun stole the Dragon Bloodline Heavenly Pattern box, infuriating the Crown Prince. According to my sources, the Crown Prince will bestow upon anyone who captures Qin Yun. Gao Linxing's eyes were burning. An imperial title. This was very attractive to people from the Empire. The Crown Prince's avatar has already arrived in the Divine Wilderness. Jiangming smiled and said, "Brother Gao, have you seen the Crown Prince?" "Brother Jiang, you've seen the Crown Prince yourself. Don't ask me." Gao Linxing laughed heartily. "Then what do you think of the Crown Prince's character?" Jiangming asked. "I can't tell. He doesn't reveal himself, and it's only an avatar, so it's hard to tell anything. All I know is that he hates Qin Yun." Gao Linxing said, "Also, he's very passionate about the Nine-Sun Divine Maiden and desires her." Jiangming nodded and said, He even asked me if there's a way to enter the divine sun core in the ancient garden city and come into contact with the 9-sun divine maiden. That's right under the nose of the 9-sun Dharma spirit. Acting recklessly is courting death. Gao Linqing used a telescope to look at the peacock paradise and said, "The other kingdoms will probably send scouts, right? There's no movement from the peacock paradise. Has Qin Yun already escaped?" Jiang Ming was puzzled. Qin Yun was in the peacock paradise, so he did not know that the two Outerverse Empire's ambassadors were secretly observing him. However, Qin Yun had indeed made the Divine Moon clan raise their prices. The Great Blue Empire and Huoling Empire had a tacit understanding not to provoke the Great Luo Empire, so they would not give Qin Yun any substantial help. Therefore, Qin Yun had made the Divine Moon clan raise their prices. 2 days passed, and Qin Yun had made many poison cannonballs. These cannonballs could be shot with the Divine King's Spear or thrown out. "Boss, the Exotic Cat Army is here. With their speed, they can reach the Peacock Paradise in 2 hours. Tying Boss said, "It's night now, so they are resting. They might attack the Peacock Paradise at dawn tomorrow. Let's go. We'll take action tonight." Qin Yun took out the heaven-leaping shuttle and entered the belly of a huge mountain. The 300 Divine King warriors had stored enough Divine Universe power in the Super Power Storing Pearl, so they could fight for a long time. Qin Yun placed them in the heaven-leaping shuttle and left the Peacock Paradise at night. "The Exotic Cat Kingdom's cat-eared people came here on foot?" Qin Yun asked inside the heaven-leaping shuttle. They all flew over. "They don't have any big ships, so they probably haven't had time to build them. Or maybe they are reluctant to give them to the 9th-level Divine Universe realm." Taimba said, "In the Exotic Cat Kingdom, there must be those huge flying battleships, but they are very expensive. Moreover, in their opinion, there is no need to use those big guys to deal with lower-class people. It is like using a butcher's knife to kill a chicken." "That's good. I think that after this battle, they will definitely dispatch those huge flying battleships," Qin Yun said with a smile. Exotic Cat King's avatar personally led the army to attack and suffered a crushing defeat. His next move will definitely not be small. The heaven-leaping shuttle pierced through space and quickly arrived at the camp of the Exotic Cat army. Exotic Cat King is very proud. He believes that with their 500,000 army, no one would dare to sneak in, because once they sneak in and are discovered, they won't be able to leave. Qin Yun's heaven-leaping shuttle directly drilled deep into the ground and placed a large number of poison cannonballs under the ground. Moreover, they were all activated by him. The poison cannonball's poison gas has very strong penetrating power. It will rise up along with the hot air under the ground and mix with the myriad realms' divine sun's divine power. Then it will be absorbed by the cat-eared people. "Boss, what if it fails?" Tyne asked. "Do you have any backup plan?" "Of course I do," Qin Yun said with a smile. "The heaven-leaping shuttle has already flown far into the sky. Tomorrow morning, they will know whether the poison gas is effective or not." Chapter 3105. Qin Yun had massacred the cat-eared people twice before, but they still didn't think much of Qin Yun. At most, they only looked up to him. Exotic Cat King believed that the previous 2 attacks were because the cat-eared people weren't part of the regular army and hadn't made sufficient preparations. Now that they were attacking the Peacock Blessed Land, the one who wasn't prepared was Qin Yun. After all, Exotic Cat King was a middle-ranking person. He had been in charge of the Exotic Cat Kingdom for many years and had led armies into battle many times. As for the troops he sent out, they were fighting against the kingdoms of the middle class. In his eyes, those kingdoms were countless times stronger than Qin Yun. Now that he was personally leading an army of 500,000, not even the other kingdoms could guarantee that they could resist. Qin Yun learned from General Menkai that the Exotic Cat Kingdom had the largest population among the few kingdoms. Their reproduction rate was very fast, and their growth rate was equally astonishing. In a middle-ranking celestial soil, one would normally need to be around 25 years old to have sufficient combat strength. But the Exotic Cat Kingdom was different. They grew up at the age of 15 or 16, and after a few more years of training, they would become experienced veterans. In a large tent in the Exotic Cat Army's camp, Exotic Cat King's avatar was discussing something with several old cat-eared people. Those old cat-eared people were the avatars of some generals, and they were very capable generals at Exotic Cat King's side. Not only was Meng Kai defeated, but he was also captured and turned into a mouthpiece. Exotic Cat King cursed in a low voice. Exotic Cat King cursed in a low voice. What a useless thing! You have lost the face of our Exotic Cat Kingdom. We should have killed his true body long ago. His capture had a negative impact on us. Furthermore, his words have infuriated the Crown Prince of Zenith Luo and let the other kingdoms know of our crushing defeat, an elder said. The other kingdoms are really cowardly and are just watching from the sidelines. The Empire has already said that when dealing with Qin Yun, our kingdoms can join forces, said Qin Yun. Another old man was dissatisfied because none of the other kingdoms had any intention of attacking Qin Yun. The Phoenix Kingdom definitely won't do anything. As for the other kingdoms, I hope they don't. Just leave Qin Yun to us. The Crown Prince will be very happy if we capture him. Exotic Cat King chuckled. As long as the Crown Prince becomes the Nuda Luo Celestial Emperor, our Exotic Cat Kingdom will be the strongest among the kingdoms. Your Majesty, the Crown Prince may not be able to become the new Exalted Celestial Emperor. Don't forget that there's still the Princess of Exalted. The old man said softly, Princess Luo Shu possesses quite the authority, and she has the support of a Grand Prime organization. The Exotic Cat King secretly frowned when he heard that. What are these Grand Prime organizations trying to do? Not only did they secretly help the Phoenix Kingdom, they even wanted to support Princess Luo Shu. The Phoenix Kingdom has a Grand Prime, which is why the Daluo Empire is so wary. Those Taisher organizations are very mysterious, but according to what I heard, those Taisher organizations don't dare to do anything to the Daluo Empire right now. It could be said that they are evenly matched with the Daluo Empire, said the general. How many Grand Prime organizations are there in total? What was their attitude towards the Divine Wilderness? Is there any way to get in touch with them? As long as I can meet them, Ben Wang is willing to pay a great deal of benefits to them, Strange Cat whispered. An old man shook his head and said, Ben Wang, we don't know the situation of the Taisher organizations at the moment, but the Daluo Crown Prince might know. By the way, have you met with the Daluo Crown Prince recently? The Crown Prince's main body has rarely appeared recently. I heard that something has happened to the Daluo Imperial Palace. The Daluo Crown Prince's clone is in the Nine Sun Sacred Ground. It seems I need to go in and have a chat with the Crown Prince, said the Exotic Cat King. Ben Wang, when you meet the Daluo Crown Prince, tell him directly. The Daluo Crown Prince will definitely need our kingdom's help, and our Exotic Cat Kingdom will definitely stand on his side, but we need him to give us a certain amount of benefits, said the old general. I understand. It's mainly the Taisher organizations. I can't be at ease without understanding the Taisher organizations. Also, all news about the Daluo Imperial Palace has been sealed. Is the Empire going to change? The Exotic Cat King was rather worried. An old general yawned and said, I'm very tired. I'll go rest first. This is how this stupid clone is. It hasn't even been 2 days, and it's already so tired. Yeah, when the clone is tired, it will also use the soul avatar. It will even make the main body's soul feel sleepy, said an old man. Everyone go and rest. After we attack the Peacock Treasured Land tomorrow, this treasured land will be everyone's. We can then try the taste of the Peacock people. After being in the Gods Desolate for so long, only the Peacock people are suitable for us to eat. The Exotic Cat King laughed. Hearing that they were going to have a feast tomorrow, the generals all smiled. In their eyes, the Peacock people were not humans, but meat a delicacy. Although the Exotic Cat Kingdom's army was still a distance away from the Peacock Treasured Land, the scouts of the major factions near the Treasured Land had already rushed over. Tomorrow, they would witness the Exotic Cat army directly attack the Peacock Treasured Land. The scouts of the other kingdoms also had to gather information about the Exotic Cat Kingdom, because the Exotic Cat Kingdom was one of their enemies. The Hualing Empire and the Great Blue Empire were also very concerned about this, because it would help them understand the kingdoms of this universe. Late at night, Qin Yun brought Grandine Ba and secretly entered a few military tents. These cat ear people are not sleeping very well, but their divine cosmos power is very weak. They don't need to wait for daybreak. The bloodline poison gas's poison power has already played a very good effect. There are many military tents. Exotic Cat King and the others believe that with their 500,000 strong army, no one would dare to openly attack them in the Gods Desolate unless the other kingdoms join hands. Therefore, they don't have any guards. Also, when they rest, they're not completely asleep, they're still vigilant. At night, 300 God King warriors moved alone and entered the military tents to carry out assassinations. Qin Yun gave them many invisibility divine talismans and mysterious penetration divine ability talismans. They can conceal their aura. At the same time, they can easily enter and leave the military tents. Most of the exotic cat warriors in the military tents have low cultivation. Formidable God King warriors can completely silently and instantly kill more than 100 cat ear people inside the military tents. Moreover, they don't even cause any movement. The military tents are not casually built. There are many runes inside the military tents. They're used to absorb and gather the power of heaven and earth, gathering it inside the military tents and letting the cat ear people absorb it. Therefore, the military tents can quickly gather a large amount of poison gas, causing the cat ear people inside the tents to absorb even more poison gas. Chapter 3106. The poison cat-eared people are exhausted, their spirit is dispirited, and their perception has dropped greatly. The most frightening thing is that they didn't realize that they were poisoned. They thought that they were tired and that they would be fine after absorbing the energy of heaven and earth. However, after crazily absorbing energy for a while, they became even more tired and finally gradually fell asleep. Qin Yun instructed the Divine King warriors to kill the weaker soldiers and try not to attack those 8th and 9th level Divine Space Realm martial artists, so as not to cause a big commotion. Qin Yun is also in the camp. From time to time, he receives storage bags from the Divine King warriors. Those storage bags are filled with the corpses of the cat-eared people. Qin Yun put the corpses into the 9 Sun Divine Souls Nether Sun Pearl. Ling Yun is responsible for removing the Divine Universe Heavenly Bone and Divine Universe from the cat-eared people's bodies and threw the rest into the Nether Sun to be swallowed. Originally, Qin Yun didn't want Miliur to participate in this kind of thing. However, Miliur seems to have sensed that someone from her hometown has entered the Nether Sun Pearl. Then she went to take a look and saw the delicate and charming big sister Ling Yun skillfully dismembering the corpses. "Luer, why are you here?" Ling Yun is very surprised and said, "These guys are bad guys who wanted to kill your big brother Yun. They were caught by your big brother Yun and thrown in here for me to deal with." Miliur saw the people from her hometown being dismembered, but she is very calm. She looked at the corpses for a long time, and her little face showed worry. She sighed and said, "They really came. Is big brother Yun in danger?" No, your big brother Yun is very powerful. He is the Divine King of Divine Desolate," Ling Yun said with smile. "Big sister Yun, I can help you take out these heavenly bones," Miliur said in low voice. Ling Yun is very surprised because Miliur looks innocent and pure. She didn't expect that she is actually very keen on this kind of thing. Don't have any shadow in your heart," Ling Yun said with smile. "They are big brother Yun's enemies, which means they are my enemies," Miliur said. When she was in Strange Cat Kingdom, she was bullied badly. After coming into contact with Ling Yun she realized how much she had suffered in the past. Even if she was innocent and pure, her heart was full of resentment. She had always been worried that the exotic cat kingdom and the destroyer would come looking for her. Now that she saw a large number of cat-eared people's corpses, she believed that the cat-eared people were coming for her, and Qin Yun was defending against them. Qin Yun, her big brother, did not give up on her and did not hand her over. This made her very touched and happy. At least she was not alone. Lu your big brother Yun will not give up on you. Look at little Momo. She was originally rescued by your big brother Yun. What great storms and waves has your big brother Yun not seen before? Ling Yun smiled as she swiftly took out the divine universe heavenly bone. Well, little Momo told me about it. Malheur smiled sweetly and felt relieved. Grand Secretary Ba followed Qin Yun. The other brothers also entered the tent to collect the corpses. A God King warrior could instantly kill the cat-eared people inside the tent, and then put their corpses into his storage pouch. His movements were extremely fast. Qin Yun estimated that by daybreak, he would be able to kill about 300,000 cat-eared people. The God King warriors knew that their God King Lord had remarkable abilities, but they did not expect him to be so terrifying that he could kill people effortlessly. They would definitely be able to easily defeat this army of hundreds of thousands. Otherwise, no matter how strong the 300 God King warriors were, it would be difficult to fight against an army of 500,000. Qin Yun did not know how many corpses he had collected. He did not count, but the corpses in the Nether Sun Pearl had already piled up like a mountain. Ling Yun would definitely not be able to finish it in a short time. At daybreak, the God King warriors were still continuing. Qin Yun roughly estimated that a total of 300,000 corpses had been collected by them, especially the outermost large military tents. There were hundreds of cat-eared people in them. After the God King warriors entered, they released their mental power and directly destroyed their souls. Then they directly collected the corpses. After that, they used the mysterious penetration divine ability talisman to enter the next military tent to collect. Many cat-eared people were at the 5th or 6th layer of the divine universe realm. Facing a 9th layer of the divine universe realm, they did not have the strength to fight back. Qin Yun used a special tool to transmit the signal. It was a transmission method based on soul fluctuations. Similar to the soul-chasing talisman, it did not need to penetrate space. After daybreak, he sent a signal, and the 300 God King warriors immediately retreated and quickly returned to the Heaven Leaping Shuttle. Inside the Heaven Leaping Shuttle, Qin Yun arranged various large formations that could help them recover their mental power and other consumption. After the Heaven Leaping Shuttle became invisible, it floated in the air. Qin Yun, Taimba, and the others looked down at the military tents from the sky. The spies of the other factions did not hide themselves. They directly floated in the air and used telescopic tools to observe. At daybreak, the strange cat army was about to attack the Peacock Treasure Land. Many of the spies took out recording equipment to record the entire battle. 8 myriad realms' divine suns shone brightly on the earth. However, there was no movement in the military tents. At this time, there were only 200,000 cat-eared people left. They were very tired and could not sleep enough. Strange Cat King's doppelganger was the same. But because he had his main body, which was far away, forcibly awakened his soul doppelganger. Inside Strange Cat King's luxurious and huge tent, several tired and dispirited old men came in. They were the generals. What's going on? How do we become like this? Strange Cat King wanted to loudly curse, but his doppelganger did not have much strength left. Your Majesty, we might have been poisoned. I discovered a very strange power inside my body. It invaded my whole body and even entered my divine cosmos and soul divine cosmos, bit by bit devouring them. An old man said with incomparably unsightly expression. Most likely it was done by Qin Yun. Can we quickly expel this poison? Strange Cat King's expression is also not good. They were actually tricked. The most dreadful thing is that they did not know when they were poisoned. It might take more than 10 days to gradually alleviate the poison. An old man said, "This poison is not fatal, but it is very insidious. Go see the other soldiers. What is their situation? Is it only targeting us?" Strange Cat King said, "We have already blown the bugle horn, but only a few soldiers came out from the tent, and their situation is the same as ours." A general said with bitter expression, "Your Majesty, this god desolate is not our home field. There are too many strange things here that we do not understand. I heard that Qin Yun has lived in this land for several 100,000 years. That damned bastard Qin Yun. Strange Cat King is very angry. He cannot even tightly clench his fist. The spies of other kingdoms are watching us. An old man said, Your Majesty, quickly dispatch the 500,000 soldiers from Golden Claw Treasure Land. Otherwise, we will lose a lot of face. Chapter 3107. Strange Cat King brought 1,000,000 soldiers to the gods desolate this time, and 500,000 soldiers were stationed in the Golden Claw Treasure Land, Strange Cat King City. Originally, the generals wanted Strange Cat King to send millions of troops to flatten Peacock Treasure Land, but Strange Cat King opposed it. After all, if he mobilized all his troops for a small Peacock Treasure Land, other kingdoms would be able to spy on his military strength. Because of Strange Cat King's opposition, he still had 500,000 troops stationed in Golden Claw Treasure Land. At this moment, the generals repeatedly praised their king for his wisdom. Your Majesty, there are still several generals in Golden Claw Treasure Land's Strange Cat King City. We will use our true bodies to inform these generals to awaken their avatars in Golden Claw Treasure Land and have them lead the army here. A general said, Most of the cat-eared people here were poisoned and slept like a log. Only a few of the stronger ones could barely get up and walk around. They basically had no fighting strength at all. We underestimated Qin Yun. We must treat Qin Yun as if he was from another kingdom. We can't look down on him just because he is a lowly person. After all, he is the divine king of divine desolate. After suffering a loss, Strange Cat King immediately attached importance to Qin Yun. Previously, the cat-eared people suffered losses from Qin Yun twice. But because Strange Cat King was not present, he believed that it was the fault of the cat-eared people leaders. It was their lack of leadership that led to 2 crushing defeats in a row. Now, Strange Cat King hasn't even seen Qin Yun, but he has already experienced Qin Yun's dreadfulness. Your Majesty, this is all our fault. Your Majesty is very wise to leave a portion of troops at the beginning, presumably to prevent this kind of situation. A general promptly took responsibility and flattered Strange Cat King. Strange Cat King waved his hand and said, This king really underestimated Qin Yun. However, he has attracted this king's attention, which will make his fate even more miserable. Your Majesty, what should we do next? Qin Yun secretly poisoned us, but he doesn't know the effect of this poison. He won't dare to investigate in a short period of time. An old general said, Immediately find the army's alchemists and have them study this poison in the shortest time possible and find a way to prevent it. Strange Cat King said, We will not move for now. Send a signal to everyone. Tell them to stay in the tent. We must not let other kingdoms know that we are poisoned. Yes, Exotic Cat King continued. The 500,000 troops of the Golden Claw Treasure Land must be dispersed. Each of the 5 generals will lead 100,000 troops and rush over as fast as possible. Don't stop in the middle. Also, let them directly attack the Peacock Treasure Land. Don't worry about us. We will definitely be able to get rid of the poison. This kind of poison is not fatal, and the poison takes effect very slowly, which means that it could be suppressed and forced out of the body. Wait for us 9th level Divine Space Realm experts to get rid of the poison, then we'll go and help them. In short, this matter cannot be leaked out. When you help them cure the poison, you must sign a soul contract. Also, immediately seal off all the tents and activate the formation. Do not allow anyone to enter or leave the tents. Strange Cat King must block the news. In his opinion, once Qin Yun knows that they have no combat power, he will definitely kill them. Furthermore, if news of their 500,000 soldiers being poisoned were spread, the other kingdoms would definitely laugh their heads off. Strange Cat King personally led an army of 500,000, but he was poisoned to the point that he couldn't get up before he even reached the enemy's house. Originally, their several 100,000 soldiers attacking the small Peacock Treasure Land was already somewhat laughable. After all, in the eyes of the other kingdoms, there was no need to make such a big fuss. But even so, Strange Cat King still suffered a setback. The sky brightened for a while. Qin Yun saw some old men inside the heaven-leaping shuttle, one after another. They took the command token and went to the tents to activate the formation. Boss, what are they doing? Did they discover that the cat-eared people in the tents have been taken away? Batain doubtfully asked. Qin Yun opened his heavenly eye and looked at the tents from far away. He said, "They're opening the formation of the tents and sealing them. They're not allowing the cat-eared people to come out." Why? Batain thought for a bit and became even more doubtful. They want to seal off the news. They can't let anyone know that the 500,000 soldiers have been poisoned, Qin Yun said with a smile. Then are they planning to wait for the poison to be cured before attacking the Peacock Treasure Land? Should we exterminate them now? Batain said, "Although our brothers are very tired, the cat-eared people's combat power is very weak. We should be able to exterminate them." Qin Yun shook his head and said, "Their poison is very difficult to cure. They can't be forced out of their body in a short period of time. Now that they have sealed off the news, the next step is to wait for reinforcements. The cat-eared people spies we captured told us that there are 1 million cat-eared people army in Golden Claw Treasure Land. 500,000 came here, so there's still 500,000 left in Golden Claw Treasure Land." Batain understood Qin Yun's meaning. Let the poison cat-eared people stay here. They can't do anything anyway. Golden Claw Treasure Land's defense is very strong, and there are 500,000 soldiers inside. It will be very difficult to attack. But now, the 500,000 cat-eared people are running out to provide reinforcements, so Qin Yun can intercept and kill them on the way. If they can quickly get rid of the 500,000 soldiers, they can take advantage of the situation to attack the Golden Claw Treasure Land. Boss, will this work? It is impossible for us to poison them again like this time. Batain said, "Let's go take a look and we will know." Strange Cat King gave the order to seal off the tents and not allow the news to leak out. It means that he is very cautious and doesn't dare to look down on me anymore. Then he might scatter the 500,000 soldiers and rush to the Peacock Treasure Land. Boss, we will listen to your arrangements. Let's move quickly. Batain suddenly became excited. If the 500,000 soldiers can scatter, it will be a lot easier to deal with them. Leave 100 Divine King warriors in the Peacock Treasure Land. Qin Sheng will be in charge of them. If Strange Cat King successfully detoxifies the poison, or if we can't intercept the 500,000 reinforcements, we will escort the Peacock people out of the Peacock Treasure Land. Qin Yun said, "Yes." Qin Sheng nodded. Qin Yun controlled the heaven-leaping shuttle and returned to the Peacock Treasure Land. Then he immediately rushed to the Golden Claw Treasure Land. The Golden Claw Treasure Land is not too far from the Peacock Treasure Land. It will take 2 to 3 days of flying, but that is only for other people. Qin Yun's heaven-leaping shuttle could travel through space. It only took an hour. In just half an hour, he will arrive at the Golden Claw Treasure Land. They should still be in the Golden Claw Treasure Land. The 500,000 soldiers will need time to prepare for battle. After they come out, we will send Divine King warriors to secretly follow them. Qin Yun has already arrived above the Golden Claw Treasure Land. The environment of the Golden Claw Treasure Land is very good. It is a treasure land with pleasant scenery. The mountains and rivers are perfectly fused together. Chapter 3108. Qin Yun released a pair of huge heavenly eyes in the sky. He can clearly see the entire treasure land. The barrier is very strong. I can't break in a short time. But as long as there are no millions of cat-ear people, there is nothing to worry about. Qin Yun asked Taisher, even if he used the Divine King Heavenly Seal, he couldn't open the entrance in a short time. It is very likely that there is a huge piece of Divine Universe Goldstone under the treasure land. Qin Yun used a prospecting method to sense the heavenly energy and confirmed that there is indeed a Divine Universe Goldstone here, but he can't determine its size. There are many treasure lands in Divine Desolate, but Qin Yun can't touch them. They belong to other powerful races and are used for their own development. But races like the Golden Claw race that betrayed Divine Desolate and helped invaders plunder other treasure lands, Qin Yun can take them for himself. Of course, Qin Yun needs this kind of treasure land. His divine king army needs an environment to cultivate. Although the heavenly fire treasure land can let him stay for a long time, it belongs to the fire tribulation crazy race. They need to evolve. It is very likely that they will consume the entire treasure land's energy. Qin Yun is only temporarily borrowing the heavenly fire treasure land. He will leave after the Monkey King is born. The Peacock treasure land is also not good. They are aware of their weakness. They know that if they don't evolve, they will be exterminated. Once these powerful races face this kind of crisis, it is very likely that their bloodline power will be stimulated. They will need a lot of resources at that time. Therefore, Qin Yun hopes to obtain the Golden Claw treasure land. He must eliminate the Cat Ear People's army and the Golden Claw race. Qin Yun and company waited inside the Heaven Leaping Shuttle for 6 hours before finally seeing a large number of Cat Ear People flying out from the Golden Claw treasure land's gate. 100,000 to a team. There are 5 teams in total. Qin Yun arranged 8 Divine King warriors, 2 to 1 team, to follow the other 4 Cat Ear People. And the remaining team was followed by Qin Yun through the Heaven Leaping Shuttle. He brought less than 200 Divine King warriors. Bataille is currently under great pressure because they don't even have 200 people. If they had 300 Divine King warriors like before, they could fight 2 to 3,000 9th level Divine Space Realm Cat Ear People. As long as they exterminate the Cat Ear People, the rest are grass. They can cut them as they please. While Bataille is under great pressure, he saw Qin Yun take out the Divine King Spear and turn it into a dragon head cannon. It was time to use the Chaos Cannonball. Using 5 Chaos Cannonballs to kill 500,000 cat-eared people is still a good deal. Qin Yun consoled himself. It was not that he could not bear to use the Chaos Cannonballs. He just wanted to see if it was worth it. If the Primal Chaos Cannonball was used in the Peacock Treasure Land, it would indeed be able to block the 500,000-strong army led by King Exotic Cat. However, this would also make them even more wary. Moreover, they could at most block the army of 500,000 and would not be able to destroy them. Many of them would definitely escape. After they became vigilant, they would definitely strengthen their defenses and transfer even more powerful things from their old home in the depths of the universe. At that time, it would be very difficult to attack the Golden Claw treasure land. Now was a very good opportunity. Qin Yun must wait until the 5 armies are far away from the Golden Claw treasure land before he can attack. Otherwise, if the other armies find out, they might immediately retreat to the Golden Claw treasure land and hide. The army was flying in the air at a very fast speed. One day later, Qin Yun felt that it was about time to take action, so he got the Divine Monarch army to make their preparations. He fired a Chaos Cannonball at the 100,000 cat-eared people in front of him. The power was very great. An earth-shattering sound rang out, as if a catastrophe had descended from the heavens. A large amount of gray flames erupted, and the shockwave caused a large number of cat-eared people to fall to the ground. Qin Yun did not care whether or not he could collect more Divine Universe, Heavenly Bones, or complete Divine Universe in his body. He just directly fired it. Killing the enemy was the most important thing now. After the Chaos Cannonball exploded, more than half of the 100,000 cat-eared people were crippled, and those who were still alive were seriously injured. The 200 Godly King army soldiers immediately charged in, using an instant killing stance, very quickly harvesting the injured soldiers. Inside the 9-Sun Divine, Soul, Netherworld Yang Pearl, Ling Yuner and Malur were resting and chatting when suddenly a large pile of corpses fell in. The corpses this time were different from the previous ones. The previous ones were complete, but now they were dripping with blood. Many of them were not complete. Although they were broken, there were still many Divine Universe Heavenly Bones. The general who led the 100,000-strong army was also killed. The general was only an avatar. His true body was a general in the Exotic Cat Kingdom. Just like Meng Kai, he was also a very powerful expert who surpassed the 9th level of the Divine Universe realm. The general's avatar was killed, and his true body was also very shocked. He immediately went to the Exotic Cat Kingdom's headquarters and informed the Exotic Cat King of this matter. Qin Yun took out the soul-chasing talisman and chased after the nearest two divine monarch warriors. Those two divine monarch warriors were currently following the other 100,000 cat-eared people army. After determining the direction, he immediately controlled the heaven-leaping shuttle to fly over. In the Peacock Treasure Land, inside the huge, luxurious tent of the Exotic Cat Army's camp, Exotic Cat King's avatar and the other generals' avatars all learned that the 100,000-strong army had been destroyed. Bastard Qin Yun. Damn bastard, little bastard, this king will bite off all the meat in his body bit by bit and fuck his whole family. Exotic Cat King crazily cursed, and his true body was also cursing. Your Majesty, what should we do now? How did Qin Yun run to the Golden Claw Treasure Land? Did he calculate it beforehand? So he set up an ambush there? Will he continue to attack the other armies? A general said. After Exotic Cat King finished cursing, he calmed down and said, "This king ordered the other 4 generals to retreat. Qin Yun is not at the Peacock Treasure Land. He is attacking the Golden Claw Treasure Land. As long as we quickly detoxify, we can kill our way into the Peacock Treasure Land." Can we really do it? That general is already afraid of Qin Yun. Qin Yun doesn't have many people in his hands, less than 200. Even if he left some troops in the Peacock Treasure Land, it won't be many. As long as our 10,009th level Divine Space Realm experts can detoxify, we can attack the Peacock Treasure Land and capture it. After all, this is our main goal this time. Exotic Cat King said. As matters stand, he can only force a victory. As long as the 400,000 reinforcements can retreat smoothly and they can attack the Peacock Treasure Land, it can still be considered a victory. All right, let's detoxify as soon as possible. A general said. The other scouts near the camp all felt very strange, because according to their predictions, Exotic Cat King should have already attacked the Peacock Treasure Land. But now, Exotic Cat King is holding back his troops. It has to be said that Exotic Cat King is very powerful. He can block the news very tightly. The matter of them being poisoned is airtight. Qin Yun's heaven-leaping shuttle is very fast. Not long after, he arrived at the other group of reinforcements. That group of reinforcements is returning to the Golden Claw Treasure Land. This is also according to Qin Yun's calculations. They have been flying for a whole day, and now they want to fly back. It is too late. Inside the heaven-leaping shuttle, Qin Yun said with a smile, "Exotic Cat King, this is the result of provoking me. Qin Yun, how do you feel now?" Chapter 3109. After Qin Yun chased after them, he bombarded them with artillery shells and directly crippled them. Then the God King warriors went to harvest the crippled cat ear people. The whole process was very easy. What made Qin Yun feel somewhat regretful is that many cat ear people were turned to ashes by the artillery shells. The divine universe, heavenly bones are very hard. They were smashed to pieces and scattered on the ground. Qin Yun didn't bother to pick them up and ordered the God King warriors to collect the rest of the corpses. This will allow him to obtain a large amount of divine, universe, heavenly bones. The news of the 2 armies being destroyed immediately reached Strange Cat King's side. Of course, Strange Cat King was furious, but he was able to calm down quickly. He ordered the other 3 armies to disperse and not gather together. Qin Yun also immediately learned of this news. He is not surprised at all. If Strange Cat King doesn't disperse his army, then he is really stupid. This Strange Cat King is very clever. Qin Yun now knows that he cannot continue killing cat ear people. Killing 200,000 is already enough. Boss, are we going to attack the Golden Claw Treasure Land now? After attacking, can we defend it? Bataille asked, because this development was different from what he had imagined. It is not going as smoothly as he imagined. Now that 300,000 cat ear people have dispersed, it will be very difficult to catch them all in one fell swoop. Moreover, they don't know where they are going. If they go to Peacock Treasure Land, it will be very dangerous. If they do not go to Peacock Treasure Land, then maybe they will return to Golden Claw Treasure Land. then it will not be easy to attack Golden Claw Treasure Land. Qin Yun is also speculating where these 300,000 cat ear people will go. They only received orders to disperse. They did not receive any orders to go anywhere. When they dispersed, they were in small groups of a few people or a dozen people. They are still somewhat organized and did not completely disperse. Qin Yun let Meng Kai out of the heaven-leaping shuttle and told him the current situation. How can we gather the cat ear people? Your exotic cat kingdom should have a method to do this, right? Qin Yun asked. A large number of cat ear people have been brought here. Moreover, they are exotic cat kingdom soldiers. If they disperse and run around and never come back, it will be a great loss to exotic cat kingdom. Therefore, Strange Cat must have a way to control these soldiers, and even a way to gather them together. Generally speaking, there will be a bugle horn. When the bugle horn is blown, it will emit a very strong soul fluctuation. As long as the cat-eared people have poured their blood-soul power into the bugle horn, they will immediately go over when they hear the sound of the bugle horn. If they don't go over, then the next time the bugle horn is blown, they will be in great pain, Meng Kai said. Where's the horn? Do you have one? Asked Qin Yun. Of course I don't. Even if I did, it would be useless because I don't have the blood-soul power of these soldiers. Meng Kai shook his head and said, This horn should be in the hands of a great general. Qin Yun had already finished off the 2 generals' avatars. There were no bugle horns in their storage Dharma treasures, but there were quite a number of divine universe gold stones, totaling about 200 billion. In other words, as long as he could find one of the great generals and obtain his horn, he would be able to quickly gather the 300,000 cat-eared people and kill them. The God King warriors Qin Yun sent to follow the army are all very outstanding and have very strong scouting abilities. Therefore, after the army dispersed, although they did not receive Qin Yun's orders, they immediately kept a close eye on the general leading the army. The general and a dozen other 9th-level divine space realm experts formed the strongest squad. Although the generals were all avatars, they did not wish for their avatars to die here, because it would be seen as very incompetent. Therefore, when they dispersed, they all hid their best equipment and disguised themselves as ordinary soldiers. But this was completely useless because they had long been targeted by the God King warriors. Using the soul-chasing talisman, Qin Yun found the 2 God King warriors who were following the general. When he learned that they were following the general, he immediately felt a lot more at ease. He controlled the heaven-leaping shuttle and quickly caught up to them. Then he sent out several dozen God King warriors and very easily killed the general squad. After killing them, Qin Yun searched the general storage divine artifact, but did not find the horn. However, he obtained 100 billion divine universe gold stones. Continue. Qin Yun quickly met up with the 2 God King warriors who were following the cat-eared people general. Just like before, after killing the general squad, he searched the storage divine artifact. Found it. Qin Yun took out a huge golden horn. Not only did he find the horn, but he also obtained 100 billion divine universe gold stones. Each of the cat-eared people generals had 100 billion divine universe gold stones in their storage divine artifacts. Their storage divine artifacts were quite spacious. Qin Yun killed 4 generals and obtained a total of 400 billion divine universe gold stones. This was a very considerable harvest. After obtaining the horn, Qin Yun let Meng Kai out. It's not easy to blow this thing, right? Qin Yun did not blow it himself. He was worried that something would happen, so he let Meng Kai do it. Although Meng Kai's internal divine universe had been destroyed by Qin Yun stuffed another internal divine universe back into his body after killing a general. Under normal circumstances, it was very difficult to transplant internal divine universes, but Qin Yun could do it. It just needed Meng Kai to adapt to it. But no matter what, Meng Kai was still alive. His true body had already been destroyed, and his soul was gone. He was now relying on his avatar to survive. He felt somewhat grateful to Qin Yun, or he would have been completely dead. Blowing the horn requires mental power. Meng Kai took the horn and vigorously blew it. Qin Yun and Tien Ba are standing on the heaven-leaping shuttle. They are exposed outside. Meng Kai is constantly blowing the horn. This is the death horn. All the cat-eared people gathered here will be killed. The cat-eared people came to Divine Desolate and killed many Divine Desolate people. They even ate them. These cat-eared people have been brainwashed by Strange Cat King and other high-level people. They don't even see Divine Desolate people as people. They kill and eat them on sight. They are very savage. Therefore, Qin Yun will not show any mercy to them. Meng Kai kept blowing until he was very tired. Then he stopped to rest. Will they really come? Qin Yun asked. They will come, but it will take a bit of time. Meng Kai said with certainty. All right, I will go kill the remaining generals now. Qin Yun returned to the heaven-leaping shuttle and rushed to kill the last general. The heaven-leaping shuttle recorded the previous location. So long as he kills that general, he can immediately return to his previous location. After blowing the horn, all the cat-eared people have a direction in their mind. Then they will rush towards that direction. Qin Yun very quickly killed the last general. His harvest is the same as before. He returned to his previous location and let Meng Kai continue blowing the horn. Chapter 31:10. On a plain not far from the Peacock Treasure Land, Strange Cat King and several other generals are frantically forcing the poison out of their bodies. Their true bodies are experts who have surpassed the 9th level of the Divine Space Realm. Their doppelgangers are a bit weak, but their true bodies are very experienced and have a deep understanding of power. At this moment, their doppelgangers can really force out a bit of poison. However, at this time, their true bodies also learn that the generals of the 5 armies have been killed. The true bodies of the 5 generals are at the headquarters of Strange Cat Kingdom. That headquarters was not too far away from the Divine Desolate. Their infuriated true bodies wanted to immediately charge into the Divine Desolate and tear Qin Yun to shreds. Their true bodies have surpassed the 9th level of the Divine Space Realm, so they can't come to Divine Desolate. No one knows what the consequences will be if someone surpasses the 9th level of the Divine Space Realm, come to Divine Desolate. Nine Suns Dharma Spirit only said that there will be serious consequences, but no one knows how serious it will be. When Strange Cat King heard this news, his heart collapsed, and he almost vomited blood. Your Majesty, what should we do now? A general is also very desperate. That little bastard Qin Yun found the horn and blew it. How did he know about the horn? Strange Cat King angrily cursed. It must be that bastard Meng Kai who told him. Meng Kai's doppelganger is still in his hands. A general said, Meng Kai, that bastard. Why did he betray me? Strange Cat King trembled in anger. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath. His true body is also very angry at this moment. Meng Kai's true body has been killed. If he did not betray Strange Cat King, who would he betray? His avatar relied on selling you, Cat King, to make a living. Qin Yun blew the horn and gathered a large number of cat ear people. It will definitely be a massacre in the end. Strange Cat King closed his eyes and is thinking about the battle situation. He can foresee the next result. And all this is the result that he never thought of before going to war. He once thought that Qin Yun is someone recognized by the Nine Suns Dharma Spirit. Moreover, he is the target of the Great Luo Empire, so he must have some ability. He even thought that half of the 500,000 soldiers will be lost and the attack on the Peacock Treasure Land will not be smooth. But now the result is that not only will the 500,000 soldiers he brought be lost, even the Golden Claw Treasure Land's Strange Cat King City will be breached. This was a great humiliation. Moreover, it was impossible to keep this news under wraps. Soon it would definitely spread out. His million-strong army had died in such a cowardly manner without even fighting. He was very indignant, very indignant. The spies of the other forces near the military camp all received shocking news at this moment. They were painstakingly guarding this place, waiting for the exotic Cat King to lead his army into the Peacock Treasured Land and engage in a fierce battle with Qin Yun. However, the battlefield was not here. Instead, it was elsewhere, and the battle was already extremely intense. 200,000 cat-eared people had been killed. There were also many spies outside the Golden Claw treasure land from other kingdoms. After all, these kingdoms were enemies with each other, so they were always watching each other. They naturally knew that a large army had suddenly attacked from the Golden Claw treasure land, so they immediately followed. Some of the spies among them witnessed the process of the exotic cat army being killed from afar. Gao Linqing took a deep breath, still in disbelief. He exclaimed, Qin Yun, we underestimated him. That guy's target is actually the Golden Claw treasure land? He wants to take it down? Impossible. Could it be that he has given up on the Peacock treasured land? Indeed, the Golden Claw treasure land is much bigger and better than the Peacock treasured land. However, how difficult is it to attack the Golden Claw treasure land? Hualing Empire's ambassador, Jiang Ming, looked at the military camp in front of him. According to the spies, Qin Yun very easily killed the 200,000 cat-eared people. As for the other three armies, they are now scattered. Gao Linqing frowned and said, Is Qin Yun going to attack the Golden Claw treasure land next? Why hasn't the exotic cat king returned to the Golden Claw treasure land? His home is about to be stolen. Jiang Ming said, Could it be that they are unable to move because of some reason? Gao Linqing was immediately horrified when he thought of this. Jiang Ming was also shocked to the point of shivering. And all of this had been set up by Qin Yun very early on. Without anyone knowing, Qin Yun's 500,000 cat-eared army was trapped here, and then he went to steal exotic cat king's home. If this was really the case, then Qin Yun would once again shake the entire divine desolate, and exotic cat king would become a laughingstock. Exotic cat king also felt despair. He did not expect Qin Yun to be so insidious. Meng Kai blew the bugle horn from time to time and gathered the 300,000 cat-eared people. Those cat-eared people didn't know what was going on. They just heard the bugle horn and came over. After they gathered, Qin Yun shot 2 primal chaos cannonballs and then let the divine king warriors harvest them. Meng Kai saw all of this with his own eyes and couldn't help but shiver. He finally knew how his exotic cat king city was destroyed. Qin Yun actually had such a terrifying killing tool in his hands. After harvesting 300,000 cat-eared people, Qin Yun let the divine king warriors return to the heaven-leaping shuttle to rest. Next, it was time to attack the Golden Claw treasure land. Qin Yun didn't have many primal chaos cannonballs left. He had to use them sparingly. Finally, as long as he could capture the Golden Claw treasure land, he would be able to create even more powerful things. Then he could attack the other 2 traitors and obtain even more resources. Half a day later, the heaven-leaping shuttle arrived outside the Golden Claw treasure land and went underground. There are still some cat-eared people inside the Golden Claw treasure land, but their numbers are very small. They are mainly guarding exotic cat king city and can be ignored. Qin Yun went underground and took out the divine king heavenly seal. He pressed it on the primal beginning divine mirror and shone it on the barrier. The Golden Claw treasure land's barrier also penetrated deep underground. Qin Yun originally wanted to enter from deep underground, but there was also a barrier underground. In the end, he could only forcefully break it open. Qin Yun was somewhat depressed. The Divine King Heavenly Seal could allow many divine artifacts to absorb the energy of the 9-Sun Divine Spirit, but when the Divine King Heavenly Seal helped him cultivate, it couldn't do this. He needed Divine Universe Goldstone. The Divine King Heavenly Seal had previously consumed 10,000 Divine Universe Goldstone, and it was still evolving. Grand Prime had said that after the evolution, the amount of Divine Universe Goldstone needed wouldn't be too much. Qin Yun used half a day to open the barrier. Furthermore, the commotion wasn't small. The entire barrier was fluctuating. The Golden Claw people jumped up and down in fright. They were still very afraid of Qin Yun. They also knew what had happened to the exotic cat army. 500,000 exotic cat army had been annihilated by Qin Yun. Their Golden Claw race couldn't compare to the exotic cat army. They knew that the Divine King was awesome, but they never expected him to be this awesome. Otherwise, they wouldn't have betrayed the people of Divine Desolate. Qin Yun opened up a very small passageway so that he could enter. After entering, he released the heaven-leaping shuttle and came to the ground. The heaven-leaping shuttle floated in the air. A large number of Golden Claw people could be seen holding weapons in their hands, preparing to fight. Qin Yun looked at the Golden Claw people below him without any ripples in his heart. The Golden Claw people were also people of Divine Desolate, but they had betrayed their own people. Qin Yun, you can't kill us. We are all the children of the Nine-Yang Law Spirit. The Golden Claw Patriarch said loudly, If you kill us, you will be punished by the Nine-Yang Law Spirit. Chapter 31:11. Although Golden Claw Clan leader brought out Nine-Yang Law Spirit, he is still panicking in his heart. He is only holding onto a very slim hope of scaring Qin Yun away. After Qin Yun heard this, he laughed loudly and said, Golden Claw Clan, you should be the ones being punished by Nine-Yang Law Spirit. Foreign enemies have invaded our Divine Desolate and enslaved our Divine Desolate people. As a part of Divine Desolate, not only did you not defend against the foreign enemies, you actually helped them capture a large number of Divine Desolate people. Golden Claw Clan helped the Cat Ear people capture a large number of Divine Desolate people and made General Meng Kai and the others enslave them. Then, they helped the Cat-Eared people attack the Peacock Treasure Land, and even allowed the Cat-Eared people to enter the Golden Claw Treasure Land to build the Exotic Cat Royal City. They'd helped their enemies again and again. Even if the Nine-Yang Law Spirit wanted to punish them, it would definitely punish the Golden Claw Clan first. As a divine king, Qin Yun saved the Divine Desolate people, fought against the powerful Exotic Cat Kingdom, and finally punished Golden Claw Clan. It seems very natural, and he did it very well. In the eyes of the other powerful races of Divine Desolate, Qin Yun did it very beautifully. Qin Yun, although you are a divine king, you have not obtained the recognition of the various races of Divine Desolate, so you are not a divine king. You are not a divine king. What qualifications do you have to represent Divine Desolate? What qualifications do you have to uphold justice for the Divine Desolate people? You said Exotic Cat Kingdom is an enemy? However, they're all powerful civilizations. They came to God Desolate to help our God Desolate's backward living beings become stronger. 7 great kingdoms and great Luo Empire's arrival was allowed by Nine-Yang Law Spirit. Why can't our Golden Claw Clan receive Exotic Cat Kingdom? My Golden Claw Clan will never recognize you as a divine king. The Golden Claw Patriarch shouted loudly so that the scouts outside could hear him. Qin Yun finally saw how shameless this Golden Claw Clan leader is. He actually said this kind of thing so confidently and confidently. What does it matter if you recognize me or not? I, Qin Yun, am a divine king. I do not need the recognition of a treacherous dead person like you. Just as Qin Yun finished speaking, Bataille immediately rushed over and slashed down with his saber, directly splitting Golden Claw Clan leader's head into 2. At the same time, he grabbed Golden Claw Clan leader's soul. Kill, leave no one alive. Qin Yun ordered 200 godly Monarch warriors to charge forward. There weren't many Golden Clawed people, and their equipment wasn't very good. The Golden Clawed people of the 9th tier of the Divine Space Realm were far weaker than the Cat-Eared people. Facing a Divine King warrior, they were like powerless chickens, instantly killed. Under Tying Ba's protection, Qin Yun flew towards Exotic Cat King City and fired a Chaos Cannonball. This Exotic Cat King City was much smaller than the previous 2 cities, so it was blown up by the firepower. The Cat-Eared people in Exotic Cat King City had also suffered heavy casualties. Qin Yun had previously captured a few scouts. They were Golden Clawed people and Cat-Eared people. This allowed Qin Yun to understand the strength of the Golden Clawed people. The Golden Clawed people had evolved quite well, and their reproduction speed was even faster. It seemed that the Cat-Eared people were secretly helping them evolve. The Golden Clawed man used the energy under the treasure land to condense giant eggs. The Golden Clawed man that came out of the eggs all looked like adults. They were all very strong and bloodthirsty males. After these Golden Clawed people were born, they could directly instill a large amount of memories into them. They mainly focused on killing, fighting, and plundering. Therefore, the golden-clawed people raised through this method were all very brutal. Qin Yun learned from the cat-eared people that the cat-eared people used the golden-clawed people as experiments. The golden-clawed people they raised were all deprived of fear. This meant that they were not afraid of death and would become very crazy in battle. Of course, these golden-clawed people could easily lose their minds and become berserk fighting fiends. No matter how unafraid they were of death, facing a powerful divine king warrior, they would all be instantly killed. The scouts outside the Golden Claw Treasure Land were not only shocked that Qin Yun had taken it, they were even more shocked by his divine king warriors. Many of the scouts came from empires and kingdoms, such as Great Luo Empire, Great Blue Empire, and Huoling Empire. They knew very well that divine king warriors were very terrifying. Even the 9th-tier divine space realm experts raised by their empires would need to fight 2 against 1 to defeat a divine king warrior. The Great Blue Empire and Huoling Empire did not send any manpower to Qin Yun. This was what they promised the Great Luo Empire. The other scouts were also very sure of this because even the Great Blue Empire and Huoling Empire could not raise such a level of 9th-tier divine space realm expert. And their equipment was also very powerful. So where did these divine king warriors come from? There were only 200 of them, which meant that they had just appeared. Could it be that they were raised by Qin Yun? If that was the case, then it was very terrifying. If there were more and more of these divine king warriors, Qin Yun could really dominate the divine desolate and sit firmly on the throne of divine king. Even the Great Luo Empire would have to use a large amount of resources to contend against Qin Yun. This was very important information that had to be reported to the empires. The 3 empires did not want to see Qin Yun control the divine desolate, because in their eyes, the divine desolate was a huge piece of meat. Even if the 3 empires ate it together, they would still be full. If it was controlled by Qin Yun, then the resources of the divine desolate would be distributed to the various races of the divine desolate. Once the various races became strong, they would worship Qin Yun as the divine king and with the help of the 9-Sun Law Spirit. At that time, the various races of the divine desolate would form an army and conquer many universes. The other empires would be destroyed. If it was before, the other empires would not have such worries. But now that they saw Qin Yun was so powerful that he was able to suppress the Strange Cat Kingdom, they had to reevaluate Qin Yun's strength. Half a day passed. The beautiful Golden Claw Treasure Land was destroyed, and the Divine King Warriors are searching the entire Golden Claw Treasure Land. Qin Yun released 10 pairs of Heavenly Eye avatars to cover the entire Golden Claw Treasure Land. They even penetrated deep into the ground to find all the enemies hiding in the Treasure Land. They spent another half a day finishing up the work. De Li's corpse was sent to the Nether Sun Pearl. Ling Yun, and Malur were extremely busy. They had to separate the divine universe, heavenly bone from the corpse, and then send the corpse into the Nether Sun. The Golden Claw Treasure Land is now under Qin Yun's control. This will be the starting point for him in the Divine Desolate's Great Evolution era. Not long after Qin Yun took over the Golden Claw Treasure Land, he sensed a burst of weak vibration coming from outside. Then he saw a huge golden mountain moving towards the Golden Claw Treasure Land at a very fast speed. This 100,000 feet tall mountain is flickering with golden light. From far away, the light it released is very dazzling. Qin Yun saw this huge mountain and felt very surprised. This is actually the Heavenly Tao altar. Heaven Tao Z has arrived. The Heavenly Tao altar has changed a lot. Not only it has become taller and bigger, the entire mountain looks like it has been reborn. That fool Heaven Tao Z, coming here at this time, is he eyeing my Golden Claw Treasure Land? Qin Yun is very puzzled. Why does Heaven Tao Z always appear at such a good time? 9 Heaven's Divine Emperor. Chapter 31:12. Every time Qin Yun sees this showy Tian Dao Z, he wants to ruthlessly beat him up. There is no reason. He just feels that Tian Dao Z deserves to be beaten up. Master Qin, I trust you have been well since we last met. Tian Dao Zi laughed loudly and said, "He is now standing on top of the mountain and looking down at Qin Yun." Qin Yun groaned, then released a pair of large blue heavenly eyes and unwaveringly stared at Tian Dao Zi from above the heavenly Dao altar. "Io, Master Qin's heavenly eyes are truly awesome. They're even more powerful than heavenly Dao back then," Tian Dao Zi said with smile. "Idiot, where the hell have you been all this time? I haven't seen you since 10 days after the heavenly seal." Qin Yun asked, "I will appear when you need me. Am I not here now?" Tian Dao Zi chuckled and said, "Master Qin, I am here to help you. Don't worry, with me, Tian Dao Zi here, everything will be fine. Quickly open the barrier and let me and the heavenly Dao altar in." The heavenly Dao altar is now under Tian Dao Zi's possession. Tian Dao Zi must have become even stronger after using the heavenly Dao altar for so many years. After all, the heavenly Dao altar now looks like a huge mountain made of divine universe golden stone. "Tian Dao Zi, why do you have long hair? Are you really Tian Dao Zi or not?" "Not bald Tian Dao Zi, you look too fake." "Master Qin, quickly let me in," Tian Dao Zi urged. "I really needed your help before. Why didn't you appear?" Qin Yun curled his lips and said, "I don't really need your help now. First tell me, what kind of help can you give me?" "Master Qin, I, Tian Dao Zi, possess remarkable abilities. I have become very, very strong now. Tell me, what can a very strong Tian Dao Zi help you with?" "To be honest, I also don't know how I can help you, because I don't even know how strong I am now," Tian Dao Zi said with laugh. Tian Dao Zi now has long and elegant long hair. Moreover, he still looks like a young man. In the past, he was completely hairless and had maintained this state for many years because he was afraid of being cursed. Now, he was no longer afraid, so he had long hair. He even held a comb and combed it from time to time. "Don't tell me you want to enter my Golden Claw treasure land and absorb the divine universe gold stones beneath it?" asked Qin Yun. After this, Heaven Daozi came in. If he couldn't provide any help and even secretly absorb the energy of the divine universe golden stone, then that would be a great loss. He didn't want to raise this kind of parasite. "I can provide the greatest defense to the Golden Claw treasured land," Tian Daozi said. "Master Qin, you should know that the divine desolate will not be very peaceful from now on. The Golden Claw treasure land's barrier is very strong, but it is far from enough." "Fine, but I have to tell you, if you run away at this crucial moment, don't blame me for destroying your heavenly law altar," Qin Yun threatened. Relax, I, Tian Dao Zi, am not that kind of person." Tian Dao Zi laughed loudly and said, "This long-haired heavenly Dao Zi is no longer nagging. Qin Yun is not used to it. Qin Yun, let heavenly Dao child and the heavenly Dao altar in." Seeing this heavenly law altar, the divine king warriors and the others were all stunned. This was because this was a huge mountain made of metal and stone, and it could even move. It seemed to be a great formation. They all felt that this thing was obtained by their divine king, causing them to revere Qin Yun even more. The heavenly law altar is very conspicuous. It is hard for the spies outside not to know about it. This is also a very important piece of information. The moving divine universe Golden Claw treasure land looks like a huge killing weapon. After the Golden Claw treasure land stabilized, all kinds of spies immediately returned to pass on the news. They must use the fastest speed to pass on all kinds of information to their masters. Not far from the Peacock treasured land, Strange Cat King and the others found out that the 500,000 strong army left behind have been exterminated. They also found out that the Golden Claw treasure land is now under Qin Yun's control. Crushing defeat. Strange Cat King personally led a 1,000,000-strong army here. Yet they actually suffered a crushing defeat. Not only Strange Cat King is unable to accept this fact, even the other powers don't dare to believe it. "Great King, the poison in our bodies will soon be completely expelled," a general said. "We have so many 9th-level divine space realm experts. Very soon we will be able to force out all the poison. We will risk our lives to attack the peacock treasured land. We are all avatars. If we die, then we die. If we can't attack the peacock treasured land and exterminate the peacock race, then our defeat will be even more unsightly. Another general said, "We didn't even go out to fight. We can't be defeated like this. Great King, we still have a chance to attack Qin. Strange Cat King tightly clenched his fists. In these last 2 to 3 days, they have indeed forced out a lot of poison. Now Strange Cat King can also feel that his fists are filled with power. However, this is far from enough. They have to completely force out the poison. If they completely force out the poison, then they can definitely attack the peacock treasured land and exterminate the peacock race. Qin, this time this king lost, but even if I lose, I will let you know how powerful this king is. You are the divine king of divine desolate. You want to protect the various races of divine desolate, right? This king will completely exterminate the peacock race and make you, the divine king, be questioned by all the races." Strange Cat King said with sneer, "Great King, our Strange Cat Kingdom is still very powerful. Our main forces are unable to enter Divine Desolate. Our army is just a temporary patchwork. They're all trash. Our defeat is pardonable." One general said, "Even if it was any other kingdom, or even Great Luo Empire, they would not be any better. Yes, this is not because we are weak. If it was any other kingdom or empire, the result would be the same." Another general nodded and said, "Great King, we should send out battleships. Our battleships are the strongest part of the Strange Cat Kingdom." Strange Cat King said in cold voice, "No need for you to say. This king has already decided to send 5,000 battleships. They are already on the way. 5,000 battleships, and they are already on the way to Divine Desolate." This caused the 5 generals to be extremely shocked. Their true bodies actually did not know about this. Naturally, they are generals of the ground forces, but they have no way of contacting the battleships, so they naturally do not know. These battleships are heavy weapons used to fight between kingdoms. They're used in large-scale wars in the Middle World. Previously, the middle and upper echelons felt that sending battleships to Divine Desolate is like killing a chicken with a butcher's knife. Now, Strange Cat King has no choice but to send battleships, otherwise he will not be able to save his face. Gao Linqing and Jiang Ming are inside a small building floating in the sky. After they found out about the battle situation at Golden Claw Treasure Land, they realized that Qin Yun's battle will attract the attention of the Empire. Divine Desolate situation will become more and more grim. Strange Cat King suffered a crushing defeat. He will definitely send battleships to flatten Golden Claw Treasure Land and Peacock Treasure Land. He might even launch a large-scale attack on many powerful races. Only by doing this can he save his Strange Cat Kingdom's face. Gao Linqing said, "Strange Cat Kingdom's battleships are very powerful. I heard that Great Luo Crown Prince is looking for Strange Cat Kingdom to buy battleships. Can Strange Cat King kill Qin Yun this time?" Jiang Ming said with smile. 9 Heavens Divine Emperor. Chapter 31:13. Exotic Cat King lost all his face, but everyone just laughed and ridiculed him. The spies sent by the various kingdoms and empires knew how powerful the Exotic Cat Kingdom's warships were. To be able to become the king of a kingdom and have a close relationship with the crown prince, the Exotic Cat Kingdom must have its merits. Exotic Cat Kingdom may have suffered great losses this time, but they didn't lose their regular army. The regular army couldn't come to the Divine Wilderness. In the eyes of the empires and kingdoms, the million-strong army was nothing but trash. But even so, these trash came from the middle level of the Divine Wilderness. They were born better than the people of the lower level of the Divine Wilderness in all aspects. But now, they were defeated by Qin Yun and 300 people. Exotic Cat King and the other generals were filled with anger and frantically tried to expel the poison in their bodies. They couldn't lose in such a cowardly manner. They had to win back a little, even if it was just a little. Otherwise, in the eyes of others, they wouldn't be able to resist at all, although this would not cause the entire exotic cat kingdom to lose much strength. After all, this was not their main regular army. However, it made King Exotic Cat look bad. This was the army led by Exotic Cat King's avatar. Although it was just an avatar, it was personally commanded by Exotic Cat King. If he had known this would happen, he would have left Exotic Cat King to the other generals. No matter how ugly the loss was, it had nothing to do with him. Exotic Cat King wanted to show off too much. Qin Yun had destroyed Exotic Cat King City twice, and the Crown Prince wanted to capture Qin Yun. So he personally went to ensure that the operation went smoothly. Damn Meng Kai, it's all that bastard's fault. If he hadn't betrayed me and told Qin Yun about the horn, we wouldn't have ended up like this. The more Exotic Cat King thought about it, the angrier he got. We shouldn't have let him die so comfortably. Yes, it's all Meng Kai's fault. Meng Kai is a general. He knows all the tactics of the Exotic Cat Kingdom like the back of his hand. Moreover, he knows his generals and our king very well. That's why Qin Yun succeeded. Your king, your tactics were perfect. It could be said to be impeccable. But you missed that damn traitor Meng Kai. Another general cursed softly. Meng Kai's avatar is still in Qin Yun's hands. The next time we capture Qin Yun, we must make him hand over Meng Kai's avatar. That bastard deserves to die. At this time, Exotic Cat King and several generals were like grasping a life-saving straw. They pushed all the reasons for this failure to Meng Kai and put all the blame on Meng Kai. They planned to publicize it in this way in the future. They would say that Meng Kai provided important information to Qin Yun and that Meng Kai had planted a large number of spies in the army. The funny thing was that they speculated that at least 100,000 of their million-strong army were planted by Meng Kai. Meng Kai had already been miserable enough to be a mouthpiece. Later on, Meng Kai's true body had been killed, and now he was being blamed for all sorts of things. The Golden Claw treasured land had already settled down. That fool Tian Daozi did not disappoint Qin Yun. That heavenly Dao altar is indeed very powerful. It is currently in the middle of the Golden Claw treasure land. After the Heavenly Law altar arrived at the center of the Golden Claw treasure land, it poured in a very formidable energy from the bottom of the altar into the ground. The energy quickly spread in all directions like a spider web. It covered the entire Golden Claw treasure land and transformed into very complicated runes. Moreover, there was a very powerful heavenly pattern cluster inside the Gold Claw treasured land's enormous divine universe goldstone. This heavenly pattern ball is releasing very powerful energy to strengthen the Golden Claw treasure land's barrier. Of course, the heavenly Dao altar would also absorb a portion of the Golden Claw treasure land's energy. Qin Yun did not say anything about it. Heavenly Dao Z was not a selfless person. He must have a reason for entering the Golden Claw treasure land. It has been 2 days since Qin Yun took over the Golden Claw treasure land. During these 2 days, they have conducted a comprehensive search of the Golden Claw treasure land and confirmed that there are no golden clawed people or cat-eared people around. The divine universe goldstone beneath this Golden Claw treasure land should be a large-scale mine. I didn't make a loss this time. Not only did Qin Yun not suffer a loss, he made a huge profit. Not only had he obtained the Golden Claw treasure land, but he had also obtained a massive number of Divine Universe heavenly bones. With a large number of Divine Universe heavenly bones, he would be able to develop even more God King warriors and form a true God King army. Now he only has 300 God King warriors. It is still not enough to form a decent army. With the Golden Claw treasure land here, a God King Realm warrior will be able to constantly strengthen the Divine Universe heavenly bone within their bodies, strengthening their Divine Universe heavenly bone and strengthening their mental strength. This would allow them to become increasingly stronger at the 9th level of the Divine Universe realm. By resting in the Golden Claw treasure land, the God King warriors will recover even faster. Moreover, they will be able to fill up their super strength storing pearls. After Qin Yun determined that the condition of the God King warriors is very good, he decided to kill his way back to the Peacock treasure land. Strange Cat King and the others have almost detoxified the poison. It is time to go back and give them a pleasant surprise. Qin Yun looked at the direction of the Peacock Treasure Land and said with a smile, "Boss, can they really detoxify the poison?" Ba Taiyin is startled. After all, they are middle-ranked people from a middle-ranked heavenly soil. If they still can't detoxify the poison after several days, then they are complete trash. According to my estimation, the 9th level of Divine Space Realm can completely detoxify the poison. The 7th and 8th level of Divine Space Realm can only detoxify a part of it. There are many 7th and 8th level Divine Space Realm experts and the 9th level Divine Space Realm experts opening the way. Once they attack the Peacock Treasure Land, it will be very troublesome. Qin Yun entered the heaven-leaping shuttle and moved the 200 God King warriors inside. The 100 God King warriors of the Peacock Treasure Land will not be able to resist the attack of a large number of 9th level Divine Space Realm experts. Ba Taiyin said, if it was 300 God King warriors, then it would not be a problem. Moreover, with Qin Yun using the Primal Chaos Cannonball, they would definitely be able to resist the crazy counterattack of the Strange Cat King. Qin Yun said with a smile, I already said, we're going back to give them a pleasant surprise. If we directly block them and attack the Peacock Treasure Land, how can we give them a pleasant surprise? Boss, you really know how to have fun, Ba Taiyin said with a smile. Qin Yun led them to kill several 100,000 cat-eared people and also smoothly took down the Golden Claw Treasure Land. Ba Taiyin does not need to worry about the Peacock Treasure Land. At noon, in a military camp not far away from the Peacock Treasure Land, many cat-eared people suddenly came out. After the formation of the military tent was closed, the cat-eared people who were sealed inside the tent could come out. Those generals have already detoxified the poison. At this moment, they are in high spirits and their aura is formidable. When they went to the military tent to check, they discovered that 300,000 of their 500,000 troops are missing. The ones who disappeared are all the weaker, cat-eared people. The generals informed the Strange Cat King about this news. Then, General Meng Kai was once again cursed. Strange Cat King and the other higher-ups are very clear that the night before they were poisoned, those cat-eared people might have been quietly killed. Qin Yun and the others did not move the 7th, 8th, and 9th level Divine Space Realm experts because they are afraid of causing a commotion and alerting the enemy. No matter what, we must attack the Peacock Treasure Land. Strange Cat King is holding a huge sword and floating in the air. Chapter 31:14. All the spies were overjoyed to see the appearance of the exotic Cat King. They knew that a good show was coming. There were only a little more than 10,000 cat-eared men in the 9th tier of the Divine Space Realm, and all of them had been detoxified and were in peak condition. If tens of thousands of 9th tier Divine Space Realm experts were to charge at the Peacock Treasure Land, they would definitely be able to break through the barrier of the Treasure Land in an instant and kill their way into the center of the Peacock Treasure Land. Your Majesty, do you think Qin Yun will storm back? The general suddenly asked worriedly. Even if he ambushes us in the Peacock Treasure Land, do you think he can defeat us? These 10,000 9th tier Divine Space Realm warriors of mine are not trash. They were trained under this king's orders, and they are all king-level warriors. Strange Cat King said confidently, Qin Yun only has 500 powerful warriors around him. He can't kill us king-level warriors. What's more, this king and all of you are very strong. The bodies of our doppelgangers are very strong, and our true bodies far surpass the Divine Space Realm. How can these trash at the 9th tier of the Divine Space Realm compare to the doppelgangers refined by our true bodies? Exotic Cat King said disdainfully. He was arrogant again, but the other generals didn't say anything for fear of angering Elvis Presley. In any case, they had already lost miserably. It didn't matter if they lost even more miserably. Even if they lost more miserably, it wouldn't be much worse. Moreover, Meng Kai was the scapegoat. In any case, everything was Meng Kai's fault. Kill all these lowly people. Strange Cat King roared. A group of cat-eared people at the 9th tier of the Divine Space Realm immediately rushed toward the entrance of the Peacock Treasure Ground. The gate didn't have a door, but there was a very strong barrier around it. The cat-eared people frantically attacked the barrier. Their divine cosmos power was 200,000, and after a few continuous attacks, they were able to break it open. Gao Linqing and Jiang Ming, who were watching the battle nearby, also controlled their flying buildings to follow. A counterattack to defend his dignity? Gao Linqing shook his head and smiled. No matter what, Exotic Cat was defeated this time. If we take down the Peacock Treasure Land, it won't be too miserable. After all, there's a large amount of Divine Universe goldstones below, Jiang Ming said with a smile. But then again, Qin Yun obtained the Golden Claw Treasure Land and gave up the Peacock Treasure Land. You don't care about the Peacock tribe anymore? This will damage his reputation. He has been fighting against the Exotic Cat Kingdom all this time. Is he going to give up the reputation he has built up? Gao Linqing said. In that case, we thought too highly of Qin Yun. We believe that he would really shoulder the responsibility of being a godly monarch. I didn't expect him to be a profit-seeking guy. The Golden Claw Treasure Land's benefits are greater, so he gave up on the Peacock Treasure Land. Jiang Ming sneered. Exotic Cat King led 10,000 people in the 9th tier of the Divine Space Realm and 100,000 people in the 7th and 8th tier of the Divine Space Realm. Outside the Peacock Paradise, there were 90,000 people in the 7th tier of the Divine Space Realm who were very weak. They could not even walk, so they were not allowed to come. As for those at the 7th and 8th tier of the Divine Space Realm, they had not completely detoxified the poison, so the power they could display at this moment was pitifully small. Dragging them here was just to keep up appearances and boost their morale. He did not expect much from them. Strange Cat King and the others had a very easy journey. They didn't encounter any Peacock people or Qin Yun's Divine King warriors. They went straight ahead and smoothly killed their way into a city surrounded by high walls in the middle of the Peacock Treasured Land. All the Peacock men ran away. Strange Cat King sneered. Your Majesty, beware of an ambush. A general warned. Ambush. If there was an ambush, there would have been one on the way. They definitely did not expect that we could detoxify the poison. Another general said with a smile. Your Majesty's brilliant tactic. How could those lowly people have predicted it? Yes, their journey was very smooth. There were no ambushes or traps. But now they still felt a little flustered, mainly because it was too smooth. This is the core city of the Peacock Paradise. Why would they use this kind of place to set up a trap? Are they crazy? They usually set up traps outside their homes or on the road outside their homes. Why would they set up an ambush inside their homes? We all rushed into their homes. No matter how useful the trap is, we will definitely be able to eliminate them. Another general laughed loudly and said, Your Majesty, we have one now. We have taken down the Peacock Paradise. This is all because of your Majesty's wisdom, martial prowess, and good leadership. Strange Cat King shouted, Destroy everything in the city. Capture the Peacock people. Don't kill them. This king wants to put them to death by dismembering them. I want all the races of the Divine Desolate to see with their own eyes that they're good-for-nothing divine. King, abandon the people of the Divine Desolate and let them be put to death by dismembering them. A large group of cat-ear people entered the city and crazily attacked all kinds of buildings. However, the entire city is already empty. There are no Peacock people here. Gao Linqing and Jiang Ming also found it very strange. Qin Yun abandoned the Peacock Paradise and moved the Peacock people. This is very normal. What is not normal is, why didn't they take the opportunity to set up an ambush? Why did they let Strange Cat King and others enter the important city of the Peacock Paradise so smoothly? At this time, a burst of miserable screams suddenly came out from the city. From all around the city, a large number of flying golden bugs blew over like a gale. Like locusts, they enveloped the city. These are bloodline poisonous bugs. They specialize in eating the flesh of the cat-ear people. After the bloodline poisonous bugs eat the cat-ear people, they will frantically multiply. More and more, they will also become stronger and stronger. The city was suddenly sealed and enveloped by a powerful barrier. Although the Peacock people stand aloof from worldly affairs, it does not mean they are weak chickens. They are still very strong in terms of formation seals. The city's barrier was set up by them. They can ensure that the poisonous bugs will not spread. The moment the incident happened, Strange Cat King and the other 5 generals ran the fastest. They were originally standing at the city gate. When they sensed the fluctuation of the barrier, they immediately jumped out of the city. However, after they went out, they were caught by Batain's group of several dozen Divine King warriors. Strange Cat King and the other generals didn't see the God King, but after knowing that they were caught, they immediately destroyed the soul of the doppelganger. Even the doppelganger was about to be destroyed, but they were stopped by Batain and the others with a talisman. The avatars of Strange Cat King and several generals no longer had souls, but their bodies were still alive at the moment. No matter what, Strange Cat King's avatar fell into Qin Yun's hands. This is even more shameful. A grand king of the middle-class world. Even if his avatar went to the lower-class world, he should not be so weak, but now he is so useless. Next is to harvest all the cat ear people. The peacock people were enslaved by the cat ear people before. Their patriarch was sacrificed, so those cat ear people who have no battle strength outside were handed over to the peacock people. Now that all the cat ear people in the city have turned into bones, Qin Yun and the Divine King warriors can directly go and pick up the Divine Universe heavenly bones. The million cat ear people must have obtained a great number of Divine Universe heavenly bones. Gao Linqing and Jiang Ming both know that Qin Yun has obtained a great number of Divine Universe heavenly bones. This number of Divine Universe heavenly bones, even in those empires, is an enormous number. Obtaining a person's Divine Universe heavenly bone is the greatest taboo, but Qin Yun does not fear this taboo. Chapter 31:15. A complete copy update the latest chapter of the 9 Sons Divine King as soon as possible. In Qin Yun's opinion, these foreign kingdoms and empires were all plundering Divine Universe metal stones from the Divine Wilderness. Thus, it was only natural that he would be able to obtain a Divine Universe heavenly bone from these upper-class people. Exotic Cat King's avatar was captured. Although it didn't have a soul, it fell into Qin Yun's hands. For Exotic Cat King, it was a disgrace. Who knew what Qin Yun would do with his avatar? Cat King's avatar looked like a very majestic and mighty middle-aged man. His cat ears were slightly bigger, and his black tail was covered with scales. The battle was over, and King Exotic Cat's army was annihilated. After the spies confirmed this shocking result, they all used their own abilities and used the fastest speed to report back the situation of this place. Not all of the spies were very powerful. Only some of them ran errands to pass on the news, while the other spies continued to pay attention to the movements of the Peacock's treasure ground. After Exotic Cat King attacked the Peacock treasured land and captured the city, it was completely destroyed. Clearly, it was a trap set by Qin Yun. Qin Yun had said before that he would give them a surprise, but this surprise directly shocked Cat King's avatar to death. Gao Linqing and Jiang Ming felt somewhat embarrassed at this moment. From the beginning to the end, they did not think highly of Qin Yun. However, Qin Yun had used strange moves time and time again to ruthlessly slap their faces. Because Qin Yun had swindled them in elegant business, they were very unhappy with Qin Yun and hoped that Qin Yun would lose. Qin Yun won't be proud for long. He has completely infuriated Strange Cat King. It won't be long before Strange Cat King's battleship army arrives. At that time, no treasured land will be able to withstand the attack of the battleship. Gao Linqing sneered. Qin Yun has gone too far this time. He massacred so many hunter-eared people. The great Luo Empire will definitely not sit idly by. Just wait and see. Jiang Ming said. In the eyes of the Empire's people, Qin Yun and his group of lowly people should hand over the Divine Wilderness. They looked down on people of the lower class, but now they had no choice but to admit that Qin Yun had indeed grasped great power. With Qin Yun's momentum, be it the middle or upper echelons, it would be impossible for them to completely dominate the Divine Wilderness. It would be very difficult for Qin Yun to pass this hurdle. Just as they were chatting, they suddenly saw many people appearing at the entrance of the Peacock Treasured Land. Qin Yun slowly walked outside under the escort of Tian Ba and the other brothers. Meng Kai also followed beside Qin Yun. Furthermore, he looked excited because Qin Yun wanted him to do something that would allow him to vent his anger. Strange Cat King's avatar was still in Qin Yun's hands. Qin Yun wanted to kill Strange Cat King's avatar in front of all the spies. Qin Yun will not do it himself. Instead, he will let Meng Kai do it. This will be the best way to stimulate Strange Cat King. Meng Kai was a general of the exotic cat kingdom. The fact that his true body was killed by the exotic cat king was also a ploy by the Crown Prince of Daluo. It could be seen that exotic cat king and the Crown Prince of Daluo were on good terms. Qin Yun had killed exotic cat king, which was equivalent to provoking Crown Prince Daluo. This was the effect Qin Yun wanted. He hoped that Crown Prince Daluo would send someone to cause trouble for him. He wanted the entire Divine Desolate to see with their own eyes how the Crown Prince of Daluo was defeated by him. The king of Exotic Cat Kingdom, Strange Cat King, ordered the enslavement and slaughter of a large number of Divine Desolate people. Previously, he mobilized the cat-eared people to attack the Peacock Treasured Land. The Peacock Patriarch fought against the cat-eared people and died tragically. Now, Strange Cat King's avatar has been captured by me. Although his soul is dead, he must still be judged and punished. I must let these outsiders know the consequences of bullying us Divine Desolate people. Qin Yun already ordered people to hang up Strange Cat King's avatar and strip it of all its clothes. Meng Kai took out a very sharp knife and floated in the air excitedly. He began to torture Strange Cat King's avatar. He wants to cut off Strange Cat King's flesh piece by piece. This kind of torture was used on Strange Cat King's avatar. Moreover, it was carried out by the cat-eared people. If this news were to spread to the Strange Cat Kingdom, one can imagine how Strange Cat King would react. Just as Meng Kai floated in the air, a tyrannical dragon roar came, as if it was pressing down from the sky. Hearing this dragon roar, Meng Kai's body trembled in fear. He said in a low voice, "It's the Tyrant Dragon Army, Tyrant Dragon Warriors. What's their background?" Qin Yun asked. Ba Tain and the other brothers were already on guard. They hastily surrounded Qin Yun, as if they were facing a great enemy. It said that the Crown Prince of Great Luo's own super-strong army. It said that they underwent inhuman and arduous modifications for the divine wilderness. Meng Kai's face was filled with fear. He looked around and continued. The Tyrant Dragon Army is made up of people whose cultivation surpasses the 9th level of the Divine Space Realm. In order to come to the Divine Wilderness, they modified the Divine Universe in their bodies, causing their cultivation to fall to the 9th level of the Divine Space Realm. It's possible for their cultivation to fall, but how much sacrifice would they have to make? Moreover, by modifying the Divine Universe in their bodies, wouldn't they be afraid of leaving behind hidden dangers that would cause them to be unable to cultivate in the future? Their upper limit of Divine Universe power should be 400,000. The main reason is that their Divine Universe heavenly bones are very strong. Not only have their heavenly bones been completely strengthened, but they have also reached a higher realm, allowing their upper limit of Divine Universe power to be even higher. Meng Kai said, after Ba Tain and the others had their bloodlines modified by Qin Yun, their upper limit of Divine Universe power reached 350,000. In most cases, the upper limit of Divine Universe power of the 9th level of the Divine Space Realm was 256,000. For Ba Tain and the others to surpass the limit by 100,000 is already very rare. But the Tyrant Dragon Army has more than 150,000 Divine Universe, heavenly bones in their bodies. Just thinking about it is very scary. Moreover, the Tyrant Dragon Army's equipment is made of 10,000 gene Divine Universe, heavenly bones. Meng Kai added, 10,000 gene Divine Universe, heavenly bones? Divine King Warrior's equipment is 500 gene Divine Universe, heavenly bones. That is already very powerful. What about the Tyrant Dragon Army's equipment of 10,000 gene? Qin Yun is sure that the number of tyrant dragon army that can come to the divine wilderness is not many. First of all, they need a lot of expensive equipment. Moreover, this tyrant dragon army is the crown prince's personal army. In other words, when the crown prince wants to fight for the position of heavenly emperor, this tyrant dragon army will be very important. Finally, the tyrant dragon army's cultivation will regress. This is irreversible. After their cultivation regress, they will not be able to cultivate again in the future. The sudden appearance of the tyrant dragon army's dragon roar shocked all the spies. Even the Great Blue Empire and Huoling Empire's ambassadors have heard of the tyrant dragon army's prestige. Now that the tyrant dragon army has appeared, what does it mean? Does the crown prince want to stand up for exotic cat king? Why? Does the crown prince want to obtain the exotic cat kingdom's help to fight for the position of heavenly emperor? In other words, Princess Luo Shu of Great Luo Empire is a threat to the crown prince. Moreover, the heavenly emperor of Great Luo doesn't have long to live. This is a very important signal. The internal situation of Great Luo Empire is very complicated. The powerful heavenly emperor of Great Luo is actually facing death. The crown prince wants to fight for the position of heavenly emperor, so he is trying to rope in the support of other kingdoms. In that case, Princess Luo Shu would definitely take action. The tyrant dragon army is nearby. Master, you should quickly leave. They are very powerful. If there are many of them, we won't be able to resist. Meng Kai hastily said. Chapter 31:16. Meng Kai has never personally seen the power of the dominant dragon core, but he has reliable information. He is very sure that they are the legendary dominant dragon core. Great Luo Crown Prince intervening in the dispute between Qin Yun and Exotic Cat Kingdom means that he will continue to support Exotic Cat Kingdom. In the eyes of the various factions, Qin Yun had implicated the Crown Prince of Zenith Luo. Great Luo Crown Prince is the power of an empire. Qin Yun has never seen the strongest power of a kingdom. For example, once Exotic Cat Kingdom's battleships arrive at Divine Desolate, they will display terrifying power. And the strongest power of Great Luo Crown Prince is not just the dominant dragon core. There are others. Nine Dragon Kingdom's ambassador, Long Jinchuan, warned Qin Yun not to look down on these empires. If the empires become serious, it will be very terrifying. Qin Yun can naturally sense the powerful aura of the dominant dragon core. He released his heavenly eye avatar into the sky to see more clearly. The dominant dragon core only has 30 people. They're all floating in the sky wearing golden armor. It doesn't look very thick. It is hard to tell that it is made from 10,000 gene divine universe bone. Generally speaking, this kind of armor is made from 10,000 gene divine universe bone and other expensive materials, so the entire armor is very heavy. Meng Kai continue to torture Exotic Cat King's avatar. Qin Yun said in a clear voice, "No power can stop me from punishing Exotic Cat King." Although Meng Kai is very afraid of the dominant dragon core, he is even more afraid of Qin Yun. He can only take a few deep breaths to stop himself from trembling. Just as he was about to slash at Exotic Cat King's clone, many powerful divine cosmos force condensed into balls of light and attacked him from all directions. The 300 God King army have already prepared to defend. They jointly released a barrier to block the attacks from all directions. The barrier is layered on top of each other. There are dozens of layers. The dominant dragon core's attack is very terrifying. It penetrated more than 20 layers. These guys are very strong. Qin Yun took out the divine mirror of Primal Beginning to see if Primal Beginning has any way to get rid of the dominant dragon core. The divine mirror of Primal Beginning shone on the dominant dragon core. Maybe it can see through their secret. If it can find their weakness, it would be for the best. The dominant dragon core did not show themselves. Instead, they are hiding. They are constantly releasing light balls condensed from divine universe power to attack Qin Yun's barrier. The Godly King army was very powerful and could quickly repair the layers of protective barriers that had been breached. They are indeed very strong. Only 30 of them can give us such a huge pressure. Qin Yun said, "What? There are only 30? Tyranba was shocked. 30 tyrant dragon warriors were enough to make them feel as if they were facing a great enemy. If more of them came, they could only flee in a sorry state. It's impossible for there to be too many of them. Even if we want to create a large number of Balong army, it will take a very long time." Qin Yun said, "It hadn't been long since the great Luo Empire entered the Divine Wilderness, so they didn't have enough time. Not long after, Taisher made a discovery. The structure of their bodies is very familiar, very strange. Taisher is very doubtful and said, 'Qin Yun, do you know what kind of feeling this is? It's as if they were created by me.' 'They were created by you?' Qin Yun was alarmed. More accurately, it might be a legacy left behind by the primordial Grand Prime. The Grand Prime said, 'I'm a new Grand Prime reconstructed from the original Grand Prime's Great Een and Great Heaven bloodlines, so I might not possess the original Grand Prime's complete memories.' In other words, the Daluo Empire had once used the primordial to create something. Do you have a way to make the Divine King army as powerful as them?" Qin Yun asked. "I can make the God King army stronger than the dominant dragon army, but only after the God King Heavenly Seal evolves. In addition, your 9-Sun Divine Spirit needs to create even more Divine Sunday," Taisher said. "At that time, we will need to borrow the Divine Sun within the 9-Yang Divine Spirit to transform the Divine King army. Qin Yun has several Sun Seeds. They are Heavenly Poison Divine Sun, Heavenly Devil Divine Sun, and Heavenly Evil Divine Sunday. Heavenly Devil Divine Sun and Heavenly Evil Divine Sun are very evil Divine Suns, but Qin Yun can control this evil power. When he entered the extreme devil mode, there were no side effects at all. He hadn't been in this state for a long time because he didn't need it for the time being. If one entered an extreme demonic state, the consumption of the Divine Universe realm would be even faster, and the burden on the Divine Universe Heavenly Bone would be even greater. Then what Divine Sun should I create next? Qin Yun had long wanted to create a new Divine Sunday. With Siekiru's help, it will be even easier. Especially now, the Divine Sun created through the Divine Sun cultivation technique will be even stronger. Siekiru is a very special 9-Sun Divine Maiden. She has mastered many techniques that other Divine Maidens don't have. However, Siekiru went to the outer verse and has not returned even now. Even the 8th Divine Sun has appeared. There is still no news from Siekiru. Old brother Taisher, we can talk about creating Divine Sun later. We should deal with the dominant dragon core first." Qin Yun said, "Their strength lies in the fact that they have even stronger bloodline, Heavenly Rune. Let's say it like this, the Divine King Army's bloodline, Heavenly Rune, should be 4th generation, and the dominant dragon cores is 5th generation. Taisher said, "It's only a generation difference. How can the disparity be so big? I feel that their 30 dominant dragon core can defeat my 300 Divine King core." Qin Yun exclaimed in admiration and said, "It's only a generation difference. Yet the disparity is like heaven and earth? Indeed, the evolution of bloodline Heavenly Rune is getting more and more difficult with each generation. The Divine King Heavenly Seal can now directly produce 4th generation bloodline Heavenly Rune. The Divine King Heavenly Seal is currently in the midst of evolution. After digesting the 1 trillion Divine Universe Golden Stones, it might be able to produce 5th generation bloodline Heavenly Rune." Taisher said again, "Qin Yun made a great decision to upgrade the Divine King Heavenly Seal and spent more than 1 trillion Divine Universe Golden Stones. After the Divine King Heavenly Seal evolves, not only will it increase his Divine Cosmos power, it will also consume a lot of Divine Universe Golden Stones. It will also allow his bloodline Heavenly Rune to evolve. This is very profitable. Old brother Taisher, how many Divine Universe Golden Stones do you need?" Qin Yun said, "Taisher definitely has a way to deal with the dominant dragon core, but he needs Divine Universe Golden Stones. Before, Taisher used up a great amount of Divine Universe Golden Stones to help Qin Yun suppress a few dominant dragon core. I can't guarantee that I can kill them, but I can freeze them for a short time and make them unable to use their divine cosmos power. Taishur said, this needs to be used in conjunction with star-fixing divine art. Star-fixing divine art is the ability of the Star Dome Divine Mirror. It can freeze people, but the duration is very short. The dominant dragon core's strength lies in their divine cosmos power, as well as their powerful armor. After freezing a divine king core's defense, if it can't quickly break their armor, then it is completely useless. How long can you freeze them? Qin Yun asked. I don't dare to be sure. In short, it can make them lose their battle strength for a short time. Taishur said, you're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.